story of two friends who got a podcast, did bits, and then fell in love.
So true.
Now, this movie does have a perfect tagline.
It's a really great tagline. Do you know the tagline?
No.
I'm going to read.
Was that it?
That was a riff. That was a little bit of a riff
on it. It's the
so
story.
It's like
that was tagline.
Two friends who got married.
No, two friends, because we're the two
No,
friends.
yeah, no, obviously.
That's
okay, yeah,
competitive
you said
advantage.
two friends. Two people?
The story of two people who got married, met, and then fell in love.
Yeah, it's good.
Kind of gets you.
That's how the fucking film industry used to work. If you could walk into a room
now
and say,
I will
imagine
say,
the poster.
The poster does look like Obelix is kidnapping a woman.
David, I like this movie a tremendous amount. I had never seen it before.
Look at him. He's
I know this is a favorite of yours.
She is mine.
This is a thing we're going to have to keep talking about in this movie. Where this movie is super charming and sweet and exquisitely made.
It really
and
is.
yet, it is
Depardieu.
all this study of what is the weird charm of this guy?
Totally.
And part of it is this guy is Wino Shrek. Is he an emotional terrorist? You know, like...
I thought you were going to do something like... I wanted you to do something like in a French accent, like, I am a beast, or the beast will come out.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right. This movie is trying to present Gérard Depardieu as like the Walt Disney version of the Beast, who's not actually that bad of a guy, but obviously has this kind of like rough, oafish personality. And then you're just like... You know, it's really close to like we took all the bad things out of Gérard Depardieu and left the baseline.
I mean, I'm sure
Depardieu was hot and sexy, guys. I hate to, I hate to break it.
I do not get it, and
that's fine.
I think
we can discuss.
We'll discuss that.
But it was not like a.
No, I know it's not like
a shocking proposition in 1990. This is the thing. Times change, or do they?
Well, yes, but also
I think times changed for Gérard Depardieu.
This was the real project. This was how do we make Americans get Depardieu?
Right. And I think this is the one time that Americans really got him.
Yeah.
I guess so. As like a romantic lead?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the other stuff
My
in
Father's
not
Hero,
in a oh god,
1492,
right?
You know, like his other stuff later.
But like, didn't Americans? It was the same year, but like, didn't Americans get him even though
Cyrano.
In Cyrano?
Yeah, that was the
which is like obviously a French film, but
gets him an Oscar nomination.
Yeah,
it was just a huge crossover hit. Right?
Yeah,
exactly.
But like, here's this guy who's in his third decade of being a movie star in France.
Yeah.
And had worked with Bertolucci, had sort of like touched the membrane of Hollywood without fully crossing over.
I mean, he was a French actor. That was the most crossing over international films that existed.
Right.
Yeah, and he was in like the last... We'll talk about it.
And in the 90s, there was this push of like, are you ready to meet France's Robert De Niro?
I got that baguette for you. Yeah, well, he got a fucking hand job next to Robert De Niro.
And that's where De
in a
Niro
movie.
said, you know, you should try being me. I wish there was a French Fockers trilogy with Depardieu.
There must be something approximating that. That sounds like
there's
there's so many crazy,
he makes so many movies,
right? Like he made a bunch of silly, like he probably did something.
Also, French comedies. I know. I don't want to offend someone who is French.
My mother is French. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are some of the most insane, stupid things on the planet.
I mean, isn't it always like, oh, my daughter, she married an immigrant. Oh, sacre bleu,
There's
right? Like, it's like, a lot of that, right?
A lot of that. Let's also acknowledge that Depardieu's breakout was in the movie Going Places, which is basically just about a fucking contest. I'm sure a bunch of French listeners are going to explain how I'm not paying proper respects to Going Places.
No, I don't think so. Going Places, you know what in French it's called? Like, you know, that was the American title for Going Places. And then we'll introduce our podcast. In French, it's called Les Valeuses, which means the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like slang for the balls, but like, that's what it means.
That's what it means.
Every year at Cannes, I've been going for 3 years now. And every year there's some movie that sort of pops up that's like the French pick. And it's like often there's like a French comedy and you're like, oh, wow, this is just playing so much differently here than it would.
You see the French response.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're like, there's French comedies that are like based on very retrograde cultural, socioeconomic, racial stereotypes.
Right.
And then regional stereotypes as well. Bienvenue le Ch'ti, which is like the biggest French comedy of all time. I think it has not been beaten since. But then there's like, you will go to France and there will be giant billboards for a movie that is just like 4 firmly middle-aged actors wearing like suits and dresses, making faces. And you're like, what's that? And it's like, it's been number 1 5 weeks in a row.
It's called like, the fucking fart family. And it's just about them all walking into walls.
No, it's
and
like,
stuff.
it's called about like, quelle chance.
Right, exactly.
And you're like, what's it about? And you're like, it's kind of just about like 2 couples have a dinner.
Right.
But then it finds out that they've all slept with each
there's
other.
There's a lot of puns, but you wouldn't understand because it's French puns. And so, there's a lot of, double meanings
but
to the
some
words.
of them are like these kind of classical, almost like stagey French farces, just for characters.
They haven't really gotten over that.
No.
I remember when I lived in Paris, there was a movie called Paris, made in 2008, starring Juliette Binoche, that I believe was sort of like the Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve of like French movies, because it was like a big ensemble movie with a bunch of stars that was just called Paris, and the only thing about it was that it was set in Paris.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
Is it? No, is it? Have you seen it?
The Cedric Clapage film? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And I remember when I was just like looking at that, I was like, is this like the biggest French movie ever? It's just called Paris.
Wait, is this the biggest French movie of all time, or is everyone?
Like
what if we had like New York?
Right.
Because there was Paris and Dans Paris were around the same time, and Dans Paris is much better. Dans Paris is Louis Garrel and Romain Duris.
Yeah, that one's fun. That's about like some shaggy boys,
It's
right?
about depression.
Being silly,
it's about 2 brothers. That movie rules. And then Paris, I'm trying to remember, but I have seen as well.
It's got a huge cast, man. A lot of Frenchies. Romain Duris is in that one too.
Yeah.
What's he up to these days?
Yeah, I realized, because he's so good in All the Money in the World.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's excellent in that film.
Sort of a movie I forgot. But
and I was like, he doesn't do enough like American films. And I looked and I think that's literally the only one.
Yeah, I guess it's just not. Well, you know what? He was the French voice. This is so fun when you learn this, of the Edward Norton character in Isle of Dogs. I'll tell you that much.
There we go.
Yeah, but he does a lot of. Oh man, and he did a movie called Eiffel about Gustave Eiffel, like a biopic.
Okay.
Where you're like, that doesn't even make it to America.
No.
But in France, they're like, please enjoy.
He was also in that really big Three Musketeers.
Yes,
he could
he's
not
in
make
those.
the tower.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. Like I think he's one of the best movie actors working. And he's but it's just interesting.
He's got a hanger. I've seen it.
He does.
In like 50 movies.
But I even feel like his biggest French movies haven't crossed over super wide here.
Not since like Beat That My Heart Skipped. But in those early days, he was having some, what can you do? He's French. I'm sure, was he in Deep Person or whatever it's called? Was he in Call My Agent ever?
Yeah. It just felt like Depardieu was the one male French star they really tried to make work. There's a history of, here's the most beautiful woman in France.
Sure.
And we try to make her convert. And that usually does work, but for a period of time. You have your Sophie Marceau, you have your Isabelle Adjani, certainly Bardot, and like Marion Cotillard has probably had a better, more sustained, fully French and American career.
Léa Seydoux.
Yeah.
I mean, you're forgetting the queen, the number one.
Geneviève.
No,
Hubert?
Binoche.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Juliette Binoche is anytime you see her in a movie, you're like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I had this experience
Also,
recently.
mothers around the country were captivated by chocolat.
Yes.
Well, that's true.
They wanted a bite.
Love her. Yeah, of course. Right. You just named her one. The French actors who've crossed over, it is an interesting list because I'm thinking of like Vincent Cassel, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like he crossed over, but in America, mostly he plays the weasel.
I was going to say, with the men, it's usually kind of that, where you're like, it's a little Mads Mikkelsen.
Jean Reno, he plays the living cigarette.
But the Mads Mikkelsen effect, where you're like, Hollywood has accepted this guy doing one kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Garrel has sort of had a little.
But
if Garrel shows up again, you're just like, who's this molester?
Right.
I know in Little Women, he has but that's sort of a thankless role.
Right.
There was one French actor who accepted an Oscar with pleasure. And what was his name?
Griffin.
Jean Dujardin. Jean Dujardin.
Oh my God.
Jean Dujardin.
Dujardin.
Jesus.
I'm going to help you out here.
Jean Dujardin.
Who did he beat for Best Actor, Griffin?
George Clooney.
I guess he just recently won.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, right, for Moneyball.
He beats
I just feel like I recently watched his like win, and the other 4 guys you're like, heavy hitters. One of them is Demian Bashir, who's a great actor.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, but
Yeah.
it kind of snuck in our
film.
friend Chris's film.
and
A
then
Better
the
Life.
other one, Gary Oldman, Tinker Tailor.
Yeah, pretty good.
I mean,
pretty good.
pretty good. But that's my example of like we've talked about too many times. But Jean Dujardin, a name I know how to say, wins Best Actor, and you're like, you know what? This is kind of a little ready-made for Hollywood. He's making it easy for them to cast him. He's weird cartoon version of a Frenchman.
But on the other hand, it's weird that he has an Oscar and a bunch of the guys we just mentioned don't.
And he basically does not do any American productions anymore.
But also, he doesn't
did Wolf of Wall
speak in the
Street.
movie.
He doesn't.
He did
And-
Monuments Men, right?
He's more bilingual now than he was when he was doing the Oscar campaign.
Also, that movie doesn't exist.
Truly is a memory hold film.
But he has this small collection of like, I'll do a 2-scene role in Wolf of Wall Street. I'll do a couple scenes in Monuments Men. And I feel like there's one other film in that period where it was like a supporting ensemble role. And then he has not made any sort of American film in over 10 years.
Yeah, I think those might be the only 2.
Yeah.
He's made plenty of other films. He
works steadily in France. He's their
He's a big star.
biggest star. Yeah.
He's a big star, certainly. And he did another OSS 117 finally.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
And he did Zorro recently. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
A French Zorro.
Yes.
Jean Dujardin.
Yes. He's like a Chris Pratt. He's stealing all the characters.
Yeah,
He was already Lucky Luke. He, of course, originated Brice de Nice.
What's that?
Brice de Nice.
What's that?
He's a surfer from Nice.
Oh, that guy sounds silly.
That was kind of his Wayne's World that
Is
broke
that
him
like
out.
their version of like a kind of like a Venice Beach kind of dude?
Yeah.
Like, I am from Nice.
This is the Dujardin.
I have tan. Oh, my sunglasses, though, so it's white around my eyes.
Anytime I would go to Paris and there'd be a poster for a big comedy film and I'd ask someone, what is this? They'd be like, it's a very specific type of person who lives there.
I mean, that
In
was
that
as,
city,
we have
people-
stereotypes too.
I mean, as a
totally.
child, I was obsessed with Asterix books, as I've talked about, I'm sure, before. And those are all about ethnic stereotypes, mostly of internal French ones, where I would be like, I don't get the joke. And my dad would be like, people are from Bordeaux are like that. And I'm like, they are? And he's like, I think so. I think that's the joke. And I'm like, okay.
Like Bonvenu Le Chiti is like big businessman has to move to small town to like take care of the operations there. And 90% of the jokes in that movie are the people in this small town say SH at the end of every word. And it performed like Avatar.
Are French people going to be mad at this episode?
Probably. What are they not mad about?
Probably.
Yeah.
I lived in your great country. It was nice.
But it is an example of like, right, Depardieu, if American audiences had familiarity with him, it was like, here's this big, like fucking burly man who's doing historical epics and intensity and playing the great characters. And they're like, but in France, we find him charming. Would you believe in France, he's something
We wish to kiss him. Mwah!
he's what we call a kiss wisher.
What's our podcast called?
Our podcast is called Blank Check avec Griffin et David.
Check blanc.
Je suis Griffin.
Je suis David.
I'm giving up the French. This is a podcast about filmographies, directors who have directors who have massive success. Directeur. Réalisateur. Cinema. This is the worst episode we've ever done. This is a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their careers and are given a series of blank checks to make whatever crazy passion projects they want. And sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes those checks get interviewed by the immigration agencies.
By Neelix from Star Trek Voyager.
Baby.
Right. Yes. Ethan Phillips.
Today, we are talking about a motion picture called Green Card.
Mhm.
It is written, directed, and produced by Peter Weir.
Yep.
I believe it's got a
Correct.
big hunkin' fucking final
Yep. Written,
opening
directed,
credit
produced.
card.
You're
It's
right.
a flex.
You're right.
And this is kind of his first, in a way, this is his first American blank check. He basically says that he took Witness to figure out how to break through to Hollywood, that this was the dream, his passion project at this moment that he really wanted to make, and the success of Witness granted him, and certainly Dead Poets as well, granted him the freedom to make this.
It's just so funny if you look at his career, as we will discuss. You don't really see I've just been waiting to make Green Card in there.
And yet you read that
he's like exactly how he feels. Right.
He's like, I really liked the script and I wanted to make it.
Which I think is correct because it's a great film.
But he's just taken like 2 assignment jobs.
Mosquito Coast and Dead Poets Society, Esther, to be clear. And Witness. So really 3. Yeah.
Yeah, he's taken 3 assignment jobs. And he's like, have I proved myself enough that at a lower budget with my casting choices, you let me make the one I want to make? And you're right that it is funny because, and so often in these cases, you're like, now can you let me make the ambitious thing with the scary budget that you wouldn't grant me unless I proved myself in other arenas? And he's like, no, I want to make like a pretty contained,
pretty cheap,
$20 million. I have to imagine 20?
The budget is listed at $12.5 million.
Okay, so is that USD or francs?
USD.
I had to ask.
Baby.
I had to ask. Our guest today returned to the show to talk about this rom-com, and we can discuss the balance of rom versus com in this movie, which I think is an interesting starting point for conversation.
Okay.
The great Esther Zuckerman.
Hello.
Something of an expert on the subject.
Yes. So I had never seen this movie.
Neither had I.
You guys are crazy.
We're not.
We're going to do the wide weekend, I think. Just
Okay,
FYI. I'm just inspecting the box office choices here.
Okay, so just establish that tab and then place it 2 hours from now.
Yeah, sure.
Esther, you wrote a book on rom-coms.
I did.
Is it now available in paperback?
No, it's never going to be available.
It's never going to be available in paperback?
Because it's sort of the form factor is more like a little hardback.
But yeah, you can still buy it. It's still available.
And one should.
Yes.
But did not watch Green Card.
No, it didn't really come up in my research. Because I did try to fill in a lot of blind spots, and somehow Green Card never came up.
It's a great film that I was introduced to at a young age by my mother because it's a great New York rom-com. But I do feel like it's not part of any particular movement.
No.
Or sort of star narrative or anything like that. And certainly it's by a director who never made a rom-com again.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like a funny little thing. It was Oscar nominated. It was a solid hit. Yada, it's not like it was a forgotten movie.
That's the wildest thing.
But it is sort of forgotten now.
I think it is.
That's crazy.
I think it is.
I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah. I'm right here.
That's what we're here to do.
David is, and you are sort of carrying the torch, I feel like, for this movie.
My mom showed me this movie when I was a kid. This is just like a Sims family classic.
But I was for instance, I was watching the Super Bowl with some friends, some very film-oriented friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Our friend Rob was there.
Rob was there. Allison was there.
Spike, Marty, and Francis.
I mean, and now our friend Rob is someone who has seen literally everything.
The great Rob Scheer.
But, I mean, God bless Rob, who is our friend. He is, certified.
Psychotic.
He goes to see movies where I'm like, I've never heard of this. He's like, well, let's do one showtime at the Regal Essex at 11 a.m.
He's like movie-going Pac-Man.
Yeah. He is the king of Cinematrix. He sends me his grids every day, and I'm like, are you cheating? And he's not cheating. He just has an insane memory, and he had not seen it, and Allison had not seen it. And, I think it is sort of memory hold a little bit.
I agree. I think David's a little right that it might have to do with the fact that this basically becomes just a blip in the 90s Andie MacDowell kind of arc.
But it's before.
There's so many.
That's the thing about
crazy.
Which I honestly didn't even really clock. It's before her rom-com arc. We're
going to put a pin in this. Yeah.
Sorry.
But I agree with you. That's what I think is fascinating, and I just want to be able to fully zoom out and talk about the Andie MacDowell thing. The Depardieu thing is so much what's selling this movie of we're trying to make you like this guy, which worked at the time, but then because it did not last, that also feels like a weird dead end. And then, as you said, David, Weir didn't make a movie before this with this kind of vibe, never made a film after this with this kind of vibe.
Not really.
Despite coming from comedy, this is a very gentle comedy, is not one hard on laughs. And his movies that have comedic elements tend to be harder comedic elements than this.
Yeah. It's Yeah, I'm looking at MacDowell again. Very interesting career.
I had completely, let's just do MacDowell now then.
So the film stars Andie MacDowell.
I had completely flipped in my mind that the reason she is so bad in 4 Weddings and a Funeral is because it was before she kind of figured out her thing through working with better directors after.
No,
it's the exact opposite.
No, the whole thing with Andie MacDowell in 4 Weddings is that it will never be explained. I'm serious.
No,
like,
truly.
it is like
I'm just laughing because I thought you were going to explain it. And then
you
were
look
like,
at her
it
career,
can't be.
I will run it for you right now, quick, okay? She breaks out in Greystroke, Tarzan Legend of the Apes, where she is
It was
Jane.
Dub.
But it's dubbed.
Famously
She's
dubbed, but
dubbed.
she's gorgeous,
Yes,
right? And it's
but
sort of like, okay, on
producer Ben, she is cast as Jane in a live-action Tarzan movie, big Warner Brothers production, because of her look.
Yeah.
And
She's
she is
very young.
so bad in the film that they hired Glenn Close to redub all of the dialogue.
Well, it's also because she's like,
She's got
she's got the
Southern accent.
Southern thing. Yeah.
But she's landing immediately with this framework of like, well, she's nice to look at.
I guess so, sure. She has a small role in St. Elmo's Fire, which is a big, movie for that generation, but is obviously a stupid movie. In 1989, she's in Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
3 years later.
Probably, she did a little TV in between, but not much. Probably kind of her best role. She's amazing
Yeah, she's
in that
incredible
movie.
in it. Yeah.
Makes Soderbergh look like a genius.
A huge movie.
She's so
obviously.
effective in it. Yeah.
Then she's in Green Card, which she absolutely rocks.
I
Just
agree.
thunderous,
Yeah,
like 82
she's-
points,
I
like
agree.
Kobe.
She's
just
awesome.
fucking crazy. And then she's in The Object of Beauty, which
You're skipping right over Hudson Hawk.
No, I am not.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's next. Object of Beauty, which I've never heard of, but it's a rom-com with Malkovich with the poster looks like this.
Yeah.
I'm not turned on.
Me neither.
I don't really know it. It might not be it might be a no, it says it's a romantic comedy about the fine art of thievery. Okay. Then Hudson Hawk, which is a huge bomb. I've never seen.
I have seen Hudson Hawk.
How is it?
I think it's pretty fun.
Right,
I think
that's
it's
one
fun.
that people are kind of
I
like,
think it's
it's not so bad.
I think it's
Is
not.
she good?
No,
in it?
I mean, she's barely. Like,
Right,
I mean,
okay,
It's a nothing
she plays a nun who falls in love with him.
No,
and
who
helps
wouldn't? He's
him,
Hudson
like,
Hawk.
He's Hudson Hawk. He sang, he and Danny Aiello sang
She's
throughout
one of
it.
the only people in the movie who doesn't get to be fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
so much of
She just gets to
that
have a crush
movie's
on
embarrassing
Bruce Willis.
reputation is that everyone's like swinging for the
Everyone's
fences
too
and every
goofy,
character's
right.
overconceived, and she's kind of playing the straight character.
She plays herself in The Player, little funny cameo. She's in a movie called Deception, pretty forgotten movie with Neeson. Sort of like a thriller, whatever. She's in Groundhog Day. Incredible.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Incredible,
Lights
so charming.
out in Groundhog
You're in
Day.
love with her.
Yeah.
She's in Shortcuts. Really incredible in Shortcuts.
Agreed.
Like, and everyone's good in that, but she's kind of one of my favorite parts.
And you're
of
like,
it.
great. Andie MacDowell has totally figured out how to act. She's
Then
arrived
she
as a
is
movie
in
star.
one of the most important romantic comedies ever made. Like where everyone is on fire good. That is a huge hit and gets nominated for Best Picture. And she's weirdly flat in it.
Like,
It
I feel
doesn't make any
she's a
sense.
I don't
contest
think
winner
it's-
plucked off the street.
I don't think it's entirely her fault.
I don't think it's
I mean,
my point is it's clearly not her fault.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Something
and
happened.
there's, I love 4 Weddings and a Funeral
Me
like more
too.
than any other movie. And I think it's just part of it is that she's up against Kristen Scott Thomas, who is just like, again, like, I don't know, slam dunking the ball. And she's just so out of place in it.
What's it about?
4 Weddings and a Funeral?
Have you never seen?
No.
It's about it's
Are
true.
you,
I can
are,
tell
you, are you setting us up to say 4 Weddings and a Funeral?
I sure am.
It's about
Okay.
it's about a group of friends. It's about the lives of a group of friends set over 4 weddings and 1 funeral that they attend.
Those
over.
are the only events you see.
Oh, okay.
You only
Yeah.
see,
a couple
and like,
years of their life connected
Right.
by.
And she
and it's
is
like a
an
will
American,
they won't they romance that Hugh
she's-
Grant and her have.
Yeah, she's an American. I think she works for Vogue, and she's
Sure.
very stylish. And she shows up at the first wedding, and they sort of they have sex actually at that first
They
wedding.
sure do.
but kind of
and
assume they'll never see
See each other again. And
Yeah.
then one of the no
And
spoilers.
she's hot, like, and the whole point is she's this sort of mysterious object of affection. But she and Grant just don't really have much
Yeah, they
chemistry,
don't have
and
the
it's sort of
chemistry.
weird. And it kind of doesn't matter. The movie rules. It
Yeah.
weirdly doesn't affect
It
the
weirdly
movie
doesn't
that
matter.
badly.
But yet everyone comes out of it going, wait, why
Huh.
is she so bad? in
And
that?
then her career dies.
Yeah.
Like she keeps making movies, but like she never
No,
was
that's
like
the
a
end.
big deal again.
Yeah.
When it should have been like, great, you were just in a huge hit. Like, get ready. And she's in, of course, Michael, a film we've covered on this podcast.
Yes. She's in The Muse.
She's in your favorite film of all time, Muppets from Space.
Yeah, she's pretty good in it.
Can't say I remember.
First of all,
her in that.
Do you actually like
my
Michael
least
Scott?
favorite
I know
movie.
you don't like it.
I have a
you
lot
don't
of
like it.
issues with that film.
Yeah, it's bad.
But she plays a rival local news reporter who Miss Piggy is trying to beat to the scoop of
Right.
alien existence.
She's never stopped working. Like she's, working all the time. She has produced, of course, the Hollywood's great ingenue now, Margaret Qualley.
I thought she was excellent in Magic Mike XXL.
Loved her in that.
Yeah,
Did
she's
you like
great
her
in
in
that.
Goodrich? She had like a
Yeah,
couple
right.
scenes
I mean,
there.
this-
We talked about that movie on
Yes.
the show.
We did.
I do feel like
We
every
did.
time I see Andie MacDowell show up in that size of role
Right.
in like a dramedy, I'm like, she's really kind of aged into something interesting.
I remember liking her in Ready or Not, the
Same,
horror film.
same,
Very fun.
Same. I really,
Obviously,
yeah.
she's in Beauty Shop, your favorite film. Your favorite film?
Not my favorite
She
film.
says for your FYI. Or does Alicia Silverstone?
I think
say
Alicia
that?
Silverstone says that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is quite good in the limited series, which I'm sure you guys didn't watch. Maid, which was
remember
it was
existing.
Margaret's. It was a role for Margaret that she plays her mom in, and she's very done. I mean, I think the beautiful thing about
MAID.
yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
I think the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about, I mean, she
got a
looks
Golden Globe nom for
incredible. Yeah, she looks incredible, and she has gone totally natural. Like
Right,
she
yeah,
has
the
gray
gray
hair.
hair.
Yes.
She if she's had work done, it's like super barely. She is aged incredibly.
It is
she
one of the things.
feels, and she now has this. I mean, I guess she always had it, but she feels so earthy now in a way that's very interesting.
It's one of the things I like most about seeing her show up in stuff now.
Yeah.
It is crazy that it's just a crazy, weird career.
She also
It's
has
really
the
weird.
best hair of
She's
any
got
human
incredible
that
hair.
ever lived. I mean, there's that moment in this movie where he's like, where she puts her hair up to go to dinner, and he's like, "Your hair looks better down."
Here's another reason I think this movie is a little forgotten.
Yeah.
What year did it come out, guys?
1990.
What's another movie that came out in 1990?
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
There we go.
There was actually, I was doing a little bit of research. I'm sure that.
And which is, in my opinion, a far inferior film to this film. I don't really
No,
like Pretty Woman
I
that
think,
much, right?
I don't like Pretty Woman that much, but
I appreciate the phenomenon. I'm not here to deny it.
I didn't mean to step on JJ's toes, but I did do a little Googling. I didn't do that deep to Google.
Oh,
JJ
am I gonna
gonna
have
be
to
caught.
fire you?
We've been trying to get JJ to Google. We've been asking him
doesn't
for
use
years.
it.
No, but there's a story in the New York Times literally about how Green Card. I can't remember which came first, but
I
like
think Pretty
Green.
Woman came first.
Well, yes, I think Pretty Woman came first because there was a story in the New York Times that was basically like, this is trying to do the Pretty Woman thing and it's not working. Like,
Pretty
it's not
Woman-
working as like well, and it's like it was almost framed as they were trying to copy it, but it was like
That's so
Pretty
weird.
Woman was
Yeah.
March 1990.
Yeah.
And was obviously this runaway success for like the whole year. And Green Card comes out Christmas time 1990.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a funny article. I read it sort of confused almost, like why would you even compare these two movies?
right. Well, it's got two people in it, a man and a
It does
woman.
have two people.
And they're
Green
kind of
Card, Karen James wrote this. Interesting.
Karen James.
Karen James, our
alum.
colleague at the
colleague at the
New York
Critics
Film
Circle.
Critics Circle. Green Card apes Pretty Woman was the headline.
Yeah.
Green Card was not conceived as daughter of Pretty Woman, although it seems that way now.
Pretty Woman. She's walking down the street. Ben
Also, they were both Touchstone.
like that.
Yes, they're both Touchstone.
They're both
Yep.
Touchstone, and part of it was that it wasn't that, the movies were the same, but that Touchstone was trying to market it the same
Sure,
way
they gave
because
the
they
same
were
kind of
like,
poster and all that.
But I
yeah.
also think there was this codification of what a Touchstone movie was, which was really important to the film ecosystem for a while. I remember a Mad Magazine article in the early 90s. A kid who
You read it for
devoured
the
Mad.
articles.
I read
You
it for the
articles.
I only read it for the articles.
Sergio Aragonius, you tore it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it. Sorry.
Those spies are up to no good.
Right. We cannot support the spies.
Get out of here, Antonio Projas. There was an article that was, what if Walt Disney was awakened from cryosleep? And it was a multi-page illustrated comic story of Walt Disney being shown around the 90s.
Right. Like how
State
things
of
have changed.
Walt
Right,
Disney
yes,
by
yes,
Michael
yes.
Eisner.
Right.
And it's saying, and here we have Touchstone Pictures. And he goes, what's Touchstone Pictures? And he goes, Touchstone Pictures is our label for films with more adult themes that we could never release under Walt Disney Pictures. Like, for example, Pretty Woman, a movie about like a financial maven who falls in love with a prostitute, right? And he goes, oh, and at the end, she's like sent back to her life of struggle. And he's like, no, he basically like marries her and makes her a princess. Like the bit that they were sort of found a way to make movies that almost had
a Disney arc to them,
right?
Despite being for grown-ups.
I think of Touchstone films with a lot of warmth.
Yeah.
Because there was, not just because of the era it represented, but it did feel like Touchstone had a lot of good, mid-budget, kind of gooey movie star comfort films.
I think of the warmth because when lightning strikes, it's hot. And that's what Touchstone is.
You don't want to touch the stone if lightning's hit it.
You don't.
I think
I do too. You see that logo and you're like,
yeah,
100%.
I think that's sort of maybe what people were starting to comment on is like, is this just going to be their fucking beat now? And, you know, up until that point, when they found it, Eisner and Katzenberg, their whole strategy was like get diminished value stars.
Yeah, sure. Like a sort of a B-level guy.
Right. They were like Bette Midler, 5-picture deal. Right. Richard Dreyfuss, 5-picture deal.
It was so easy.
No, it was either people who had flops they were too afraid to recover from.
Yeah,
or had just kind of like alienated too much of the industry, and you could get them at
Richard
a bargain.
Dreyfuss wasn't either of those, right? He hadn't had any flops or alienated anybody.
No. I think it's Down and Out in Beverly Hills is Dreyfuss, Nolte, and Midler, who were all like fucking bargain basement, clearance, must go movie stars. And that movie opened to #1 at the box office. And they were like, see, our fucking thing works. The trailer for Green Book, which is very deranged.
I assume you mean Green Card.
Thank you.
Yes. Because nobody does an accent in Green Book.
You're
that
right.
film. No
You're
one's
right.
doing a kind of like
You're
a
right.
big ethnic sort of accent.
Let me correct
no one's
myself.
eating a pizza.
The trailer for Green Book
Yes.
is sensitive, profound,
Thank you.
uproariously funny,
Right. Yep.
and it has
A beating
quiet
heart.
beating heart at the center named Linda Cardellini.
Yes.
The trailer for Green Card is insane.
I haven't seen the trailer.
It's a peak
Yeah, I
90s trailer.
I didn't watch the trailer.
It was on the Blu-ray. It felt like it was 12 minutes long.
He's a horticulturalist. It's hard to fucking tell what he does. Who knows
He's
what he does?
maybe
He
a composer,
walks around
but
in a
maybe
cloak.
he's
It's
not.
a lot of that, but there's so much voiceover talking you through every plot
He
beat.
sleeps in the park.
She needs the apartment.
But this is the part I want to call out. Touchstone Pictures presents France's most acclaimed actor, Gérard Depardieu, and America's newest film sensation, Andie MacDowell, in the story of two people, yada, yada, yada. Like, the wind-up on that fucking trailer.
I mean, I guess I get it because it's like neither of them are household names, but they are both, you know, you can present them credibly as like this. These are new, exciting
We need
people.
to explain to you why these are movie
She
stars.
just won the fucking, in a movie that won the Palme d'Or.
Yeah.
And he is from France.
Yes.
Which is cultured.
But do you think like
Not a
the
handy
sex,
with De Niro.
like, do you think the Sex, Lies, and Videotape was
Yes.
at all of a selling point for
Yes,
her at this point?
definitely.
Okay.
That was a big movie.
I know it was a big hit, but it's interesting, I guess, to
Sex, Lies, and Videotape made more money than Green Card. Like that. Sex, Lies, and Videotape was a
but it's
big old hit.
interesting also though to like transition from that into sort of like sweetheart territory.
Which is also why I think they're
That's
not.
sort of what I'm
Yes.
I'm more mean, which is like
little sugar.
I
to the
think that's
salt
why
here,
they're not
but not
naming.
total sugar.
They're not
Right.
going, and from Sex, Lies, and Video.
Videotape.
You know
They're
that movie
saying-
about filming people who fuck.
Right. They're saying America's newest film sensation. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh, right. They let you fill in the blank because they're trying to frame her a different way.
They did a good job. We love Andie MacDowell for about 5 or 6 years. And then we kind of get sick of her.
I just think the tagline for this title, which I butchered,
But it's a great tagline.
but is the thing that like 90s studio exec dreams were made of like walking in and you're like, here's the poster, one movie star holding another movie star. And you're like, you're promising me 2 movie stars? And you're like, yes, TBD. And
Probably.
the title is Green Card. And the tagline is the story of 2 people who got
has
married,
everything.
met, and
Right.
then
And
fell
then
in
fell in
love. And you're like, you've just told me all 3 acts. I see the movie in my head.
And it's like everyone knows what a green card marriage is.
Yep.
No one's thought to do the movie yet.
No.
Like it's
So
an
I will
obvious rom-com
say,
setup.
Though I think what's interesting about the movie is the 3 acts are more subtle and not exactly
It's
what
not
you would
tropey.
expect
Yes.
from that tagline. Like I was watching and I was expecting like, oh, there's one night when they, they
You get drunk on the beach, confess
yeah.
their secrets, and then one of them builds a raft and says, "Fuck you, Linda." Sorry. Keep going. Sorry.
Was that Send Help?
Have you sent help yet?
Oh yeah, I sent help with David.
What a movie.
I sent help with David. I love Send Help. But yeah, you're expecting. There's that scene where they're where they each go to bed in her apartment for the first night, and he's bare chested and burly, and he asks her what side of the bed she sleeps on, and she looks at the door, and you sort of in a more tropey movie, she walks out the door, she sees him, they kiss, they maybe do something else. But it doesn't happen that way. And I think that's a good thing about this movie. But it also makes it a little bit more of an odder duck than you're expecting. I found this movie odd. I loved the ending.
Ending is so good.
Ending is incredible.
The ending is kind of
the
like
ending is
oh,
so
fuck.
good.
This whole thing made sense.
Yeah.
Right.
That any sort of reservations I had went away, but I still have my problems. I also have problems with Depardieu.
That's my thing as well.
It's a little bit of a hurdle for me to get over.
Wow.
And it's not just because we know now he is a bad person.
He is a bad person.
He's a bad person.
It seems
terrible,
fairly definitive that he's become quite the ogre. Yes.
Is it? Can I now tell my story about? Okay.
Please.
My most recent Depardieu story was I was in Cannes last year, and I got an email from an editor at the New York Times asking me to write a story on it. His conviction had just been announced.
When you say conviction, he has been accused and put on trial several times for various things.
But he finally.
There was one that
his sexual assault conviction. Actually, he actually was convicted.
There have truly just been decades of stories about Gérard Depardieu, and even in this moment in 1990, where it's like Cyrano's getting him a Best Actor nomination, he's starring in Green Card, he's doing his American Press, like his first real run of are we ready for France's biggest movie star? He says 7 insanely objectionable things in interviews that were litigated for weeks in the press in a way that feels like our modern discourse cycle. Back then, people would kind of move on from shit.
He was found guilty of sexual assault in last May.
And was he getting a pass because he was foreign?
Well, this is what Esther's about to tell you.
Well, so they were like, can you write a story about Cannes reacting to it? And obvious, he's the king of Cannes. You walk down the street, there are pictures of him. He's been in so many movies that were at the festival. And so basically my task was to go around and find people to talk. I got the assignment. I went to a party, and I was like, I'll sure on the beach. It was very fancy. It was very Cannes. Surely I'll find people. And I sort of started putting out feelers with American colleagues. Do you know any French colleagues that would be willing to speak? And a lot of the thing was no. We cannot speak about Gérard. And I finally just sort of was going around listening and seeing if I heard French accents and going up to people. And
profiling people, Esther.
Well, yeah. And so I found, a publicist who's and the quotes were exactly what you would expect, which is he's probably guilty, I found the quote, probably guilty, probably been a very bad man, but he has been also more respectful, a man who has achieved an unbelievable work in many domains. And it's just it was so walking around, and everyone's blowing cigarette smoke in my face. It was just the most, but I think there's been years and years and years of this happening and being whoa, but he's Gérard. This is what Gérard does.
Right.
This is fine.
France's whole response to Me Too made America look like fucking woke point 10. It's just where they're always just yes, but he is a good actor, and I'm doing a dumb accent and I'm being silly and dismissive about it. But it is true that when you artists would just sign petitions randomly defending people, and it's why? And they're well, he is such a celebrity. How can you attack art?
Yeah.
This is, you are lynching this man,
former presidents. Right. The tone is very often who knows if these things are true? And even if they are true, such things happen.
Boys will be boys,
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
But what we cannot deny is that Gérard gave us 50 years of film history.
Yeah.
And how dare you threaten to erase that? Like the French's response.
They
to-
do not care. Like he was
Yes.
found guilty and they
Yes.
were like,
I
he
think it's
is fine.
getting a little more serious. That like I do feel like there's been genuine cultural like sort of
And there have been people who've
facing up to it a
taken
little,
like
and
an incredible stand, like
women-
Adele Hanel,
Yeah.
who's
Adele
done like
Hanel
But it's
incredible,
basically
like
only this current younger generation of
Yeah.
French filmmakers and actors who are actually pushing back on the thing, and even so have experienced insane career repercussions. But yeah, no, their attitude is just like, it felt like what they saw was, oh, so what? People say a story about Kevin Spacey, and now Kevin Spacey movies no longer exist? They cannot do that to our culture. And they get so
Right.
defensive
And they're
about
so
like,
defensive.
honestly, they
French
feel that
film,
way about
right.
like Kevin Spacey too.
yeah,
He was all over Cannes last year
The
too.
other thing is that he became this like comical like cube of a man
Yes.
who not only was like credibly accused of basically just being a total creep, for decades, but also was like, and I will pay no taxes.
right.
And I can piss anywhere on an airplane
Right.
that I want. And like, it's just like he was just this like cartoon villain. Like,
Yes. But he was
and-
given like such cultural indulgence, right? That you're like, this guy is just like,
he randomly like wrote a letter about how Putin is good. Like he was really freelancing out into other areas of evil, like in the 2010s and 2020s. Like kind of like the sort of Steven Seagal approach of like, I'm flooding the zone. Like,
Yes.
bad in every direction.
and also like my uncle who's an actor in France is just like, yeah, it's like one of the open secrets that Gérard has used an earpiece for like 25 years. Even when he's doing like stage, when he's doing TV, when he's doing film, like he's a lazy piece of shit and he doesn't learn his lines. That is me quoting an angry working actor in France at like how much they let Depardieu get away with. And basically would say like he shows up and he doesn't know what the character is and the audience applauds. Like he just became so deeply tied reputationally to the idea of French cinema. Like this is our living legend and nothing he could do would distort the sort of enormity of all of it. So just made so many fucking movies.
a ton of movies.
It's like
a bunch in
50
Hollywood, but
years.
way more in France.
Yes.
Like, and he sort
every
of
genre.
Right. He sort of successfully morphed from young, interesting actor to leading man to like older comic actor
Obelix.
supporting to Obelix.
Right, like he even
I
has
mean,
this
when
big
they were making the
franchise.
Asterix movie, they were like, there is one Obelix and it is Gérard Depardieu.
I remember
Like,
reading
no one else can play this man.
I remember reading an Asterix book in like the early 90s. And in the front page, they had a caricature of Gérard Depardieu
Right.
as Obelix. And I was like, why'd they make it Depardieu? And my mom was like, because they just know
They
he's going to
assume.
play him in a movie at
It'll
some
happen.
point.
Because like the Asterix keeps changing in those movies, and
Yeah.
Depardieu is Obelix for the first four. Like he
Right.
didn't change.
Here's how I would put it, Ben, okay? Imagine if the biggest star in Hollywood, and I know in your head you're probably thinking John Goodman, right?
Yes.
Was not
Precisely.
asked to play live action Fred Flintstone, was basically asked to play live action Barney Rubble
Yeah,
He did it, like-
Obelix is sort of the Barney,
10 times.
right?
Got it.
And the
Okay.
guy playing live action Barney Rubble had over decades been seen as the nation's greatest heartthrob,
Right.
our most intense dramatic actor,
I mean,
like all of it, you know?
Crazy.
And you're like, now kids are like, yeah.
Obelix. All right, I'm going to open the dossier before we can return to the sort of where Depardieu was in his career for Green Card. But I want to open the dossier. Witness, Peter Weir. He's transitioned to Hollywood. He made a massive hit. It's called Witness. Wins 2 Academy Awards.
John Book.
His name is John Book.
His name is John
And
Book.
he's got to go to Amish country.
He witnessed
You
something.
like Witness?
Oh yeah.
Witness
oh,
the Fitness?
Witness the fitness.
It's a British song. People will understand.
Oh my God.
Okay.
His
It's a
follow-up,
French
yeah.
however,
I thought I was like,
Witness
what?
the Fitness. His follow-up, The Mosquito Coast,
Mhm.
not successful. Not
I
really
like
a-
that movie.
I do too,
Rules.
but you know, sort of went over a little tepidly at the time. Doesn't really get awards, and so on and so forth. Peter Weir very frustrated by this. Thinks about getting out of Hollywood altogether. He hasn't written a movie since Year of Living Dangerously. That's the last time he's credited on a screenplay. But so then he's just kind of like, I think I should just write something for myself. It can be something commercial, but like maybe this is what I'm frustrated about right now. Green Card is kind of, he says, I got to get back in the game.
His movies have been getting more epic too. He was
Right.
working in extreme landscapes, period, different cultures. Yeah.
The way he puts it, I was reviving something Frank Capra had perfected, the romantic comedy, a light snack.
I
Nothing
do
bad.
love a light snack.
Girl dinner, as they say.
Is our rom-coms now girl dinner?
Our rom-coms girl dinner. Now, of course, rom-coms have to be about FBI agents who are rumbled, and it turns out they're going to do a spy mission.
There was one.
Is there another one?
There was one announced, I think, yesterday. A new Eddie Murphy, and I'm astonished to say this, streaming movie.
Oh, wait.
What?
Wait. Eddie Murphy wants to make a straight-to-streaming movie? It won't be anonymous, though.
He has some weird medical condition where if they project him onto a big screen,
he melts.
yeah,
Like Alex Mack.
Yeah.
A bottle of metal.
I'm just waiting for him to start to become the first actor with an exclusive deal with Delta Airlines.
No, he's going to be the first actor who's like, they AI'd me. I'm
Yeah.
a fucking AI now.
Yeah.
They can just put me in anything now.
I watched his last one, The Drop, which sucks. Eva Longoria plays his wife in it and is quite good. They've
Oh,
announced
good
that,
for
of
her.
course, they now need to reteam, as if the public's
Wait.
demanding another,
Wait, he made a movie called The Drop?
or it's called The Take.
There's
I
another
don't
movie
know.
called The
Yeah,
Drop.
because The Drop is the one with Tom Hardy.
Maybe it's called The Pickup.
And
The
then there's
Pickup.
Drop,
Right.
which is the phone one.
Yes.
Looks like Pete Davidson's in this one too.
Kiki
When was
Palmer,
was Pete
Eva
Davidson?
Longoria.
Was he playing a character that's like really different from like his general vibe as a guy?
David, you joke.
No.
I would argue the problem with that movie is he is playing a character that is way too different from his general vibe as a guy.
okay, fair enough.
It is Pete Davidson as, I can't get laid. I don't know how to talk to girls. And I'm like, are you fucking winking at the cameras this whole movie?
But I feel like Eddie Murphy looks at him and is like, is that his deal? Like Eddie Murphy's just like
Correct.
so on planet famous. He's like,
That's the-
what's this nerd's
That's
deal?
the energy of the movie. Is
Right.
like Pete Davidson making Eddie Murphy look at text exchanges. Eddie Murphy
Right.
being like, I don't fucking know. Shut up.
So you didn't like it.
No, it sucks.
Okay.
It's a movie for idiots and losers.
But he's announced another streaming film, of course.
Eva Longoria is kind of good in it.
Okay.
And then it's like they got to reteam. The chemistry was so undeniable on Amazon Prime that they're making a new movie, and it was called like Parental Attachment Style or something like that.
I believe I saw a Deadline
And I was like,
article or
okay,
whatever.
relationship.
Attachment parenting. it's
Attachment
called.
parenting. And I was like, okay. That's like, sounds low concept enough. It's like a green card-esque title. Is it just about the two parents empty nesting? No, it's about they get
couple who's
tied into the mob.
right. Relationship is put to the ultimate test when they're forced to counsel a crime boss's family while being held hostage.
Great. Sounds like it has a bunch of fucking guns in it.
Probably has a lot of guns.
Like the
At least
first
a couple guns.
sentence of that, I was like, is it just going to be Eva Longoria and Eddie Murphy
Like
have to figure out what their marriage is like
right.
now that their kids have left the
No.
house?
Professional comedy. Yes,
Right. And just let them talk to each other.
a light snack.
A light snack. It sounds like a light snack. Can we talk a little sort of like larger rom-com theory here, Esther?
Okay. What do you mean?
Well, the modes of rom-com and sort of like what we each believe in terms of like what makes a fruitful rom-com.
Okay.
There is a thing this movie does that I value greatly, and I realized while watching it how few examples I could think of this being utilized, which is I am often frustrated by the rom-com that is predicated on a lie.
Yeah,
Two people
sure.
meet,
Yes.
You know the lie's going to get
They
busted.
they fall in
up.
love, and it's just kind of
Yeah.
an annoying tension till they get to the conversation and they blow up and someone has to come apologize for being mad about a thing they should have been mad about in the first place.
Yes.
Right? This movie is, they're in the same lie.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
They
right,
meet
right,
each other
For different
basically
reasons.
forming a lie.
Right.
But they're 100% on the same page within that, which is so much better as a kind of like pressure cooker for tensions to develop.
Yeah. I mean, I do think there are other examples, though nothing is coming to mind, I'm sure, if I thought about it harder. But I think the situation with the rom-com of deception is always hard because then somebody needs to forgive someone.
Sure.
And
Yeah. You gotta buy that.
always have, and sometimes it works and sometimes it like absolutely doesn't. And that's like, but it's been, I mean, and that has been like, for instance, like the Doris Day Rock Hudson rom-coms, like two of them, not the last one, but like are all like, he's pretending to be a Texas guy and she's like a working woman, and like literally, at the end of Pillow Talk, he literally like carries her out of bed and like, brings her over. And it's like, okay, she's fallen in love with him, but do we really believe this?
And the movie has to end, so that's what we have to
The movie has to end, so that's what we have to do. And obviously, it always seems more fair when either the lie is so outrageous or there's so much of a double sort of standard. Like, I think sometimes the lies work when, it's, for instance, a like Lady Eve, where she sort of double crosses him and then double crosses him again, and triple crosses him.
Yeah.
I don't know numbers, but
yes.
How many crossing?
I'm gonna give you some other ones.
Yeah.
While you were sleeping. One of the most insane built on a lie things ever, where you're like, I love this movie, except for she will eventually have to reveal I am a psychopath. Like, I have been behaving like
You've Got Mail.
Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail both have this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
Well, does Sleepless in Seattle actually have it outside of the fact that it doesn't really, she's like stalking him, but like, she doesn't really lie to him.
No, that's more she's just being insane.
That's more she's being insane. You've Got Mail is more the like he actually lies to her.
He's
for
not telling her something.
Right. What's interesting to me is Lady Eve, which I think is as good as any rom-com ever made.
Yeah.
It does the triple lie at least. And yet it almost feels like it pushing it that far is a commentary on how many rom-coms were already built upon lies at that point.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the postmodern version of like, they're just going to keep fucking lying to each other.
Well,
and then spoilers, the end of that movie is the guy being like, I don't even fucking care what reality is anymore.
I mean, but the thing is they break up in the first place in that movie because he is mad. He actually is mad at her for lying to him. And then she gets pissed at him. So because she actually does fall in love. So then she lies to him again and then he's just so confused. Yeah. And that's the screwball thing that happens all the time, which is like, they just get so confused at the end. Like someone just gets so confused at the end and they're like, whatever, let's fuck. Like,
but his takeaway is also like, the energy of you as a person is who I want to be with and who I am in love with. I'll work out whoever the fuck you actually are later.
Yeah.
Is kind of, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like there's some, I mean, this is a shitty movie. Well, it's not a shitty movie, but like...
This movie?
No.
Oh, the movie you're about to...
The movie I'm about to say. I do think there are some that try to do like double deception. Like, I don't like this movie very much, but like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
That's a classic. They're both lying about different things.
They're both lying about different things. And so you're sort of like... But I mean, I just don't think that movie is that good.
No. I think the unified lie is an underused power move.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because the best rom-coms are, there is a circumstantial reason these two people need to be together.
Yeah.
There's a reason they can't leave. This is like forged in fire. And you can have the arc of like they're driving each other crazy and then they start to connect and then they realize their feelings and they hurt each other in a way that doesn't feel like, hey, why wouldn't you walk out the front door? Why are you still bothering with this guy?
Right. I mean, and there have been some more we have to date, to like more recent ones.
It's
like,
such a romance novel trope.
Yeah. Like we have to fake dating in order to. But I think what's interesting about this is that also they don't getting into it, they don't think they have to spend any time together. Whereas the fake dating thing is often, we have to pretend like we're in love. And so then we actually fall in love. This event gets there eventually, but they literally are like, bye. We did it.
Once again, it's why the tagline's good because
they meet.
They fucking no.
They get married.
They meet. Then they meet. They don't exchange pleasantries until after they marry.
Yeah.
And it's so long for the road. I guess I should know what your name was.
Peter Weir, great quote. I thought Green Card was a film that should be seen at 5:00 in the afternoon. The perfect sort of late matinee. I never thought of it as a night out sort of film. Initially, he wrote it for an Englishman, right? Like that was his concept, right? It would happen one night. He put it in a bottom drawer because he said just kind of felt irrelevant, felt like it'd been done before. Like I was writing it for like a Dudley Moore, Gérard Depardieu. He's told many different stories of how he sort of first noticed him. But it's basically like I kept seeing this guy in movies. Now, The movie he cites the most often is Danton, the great André Waja movie about the French Revolution, which rocks, especially if you love the French Revolution, like I do. But is a lot of sweaty, hot Depardieu as Georges Danton in his final days, basically like going like, "Oh, they are going to execute me. Oh, this is so bad," and then like yelling at everyone, going, "Why would you do that to me?"
This was part of the riddle for American audiences. Is they'd be like, they think he's hot.
A little bit, but I'm sorry. Like, I think Gérard Depardieu is so hot. I'm like, 80s and 90s Depardieu. Yes, absolutely. Like I find him incredibly magnetic.
I get it in this movie.
I super get it in like Last Metro and shit. Like that, like all that stuff. Like
earlier Depardieu.
Yes.
I think here he feels inching to
Quasimodo.
I mean, the hair is
slouching towards Quasimodo.
He's full
because he's always got this cloak on. It just makes him look like some.
I know. We've said this about other actors before, and I just want to say, as a hyperbolic person, I'm about to say it and mean it as the ultimate. He has the most face of any person ever.
There's so many crevices and contours.
It's insane.
So
and
many
it also
directions
just like there's no way you can point a camera on him and that face not taking up like the full frame.
No.
It's just like
it's like a Frank Gehry building or something. You're trying to figure out how it's like set up.
It's interesting. His son, Guillaume Depardieu, who died very young, right? But he, who he had with Elise Ventre, right? His sort of very beautiful wife, was sort of like, what if you kind of programmed a computer to make a sort of more conventionally handsome Depardieu, but you don't lose the nose. Like you still see him in it, but it's kind of like this is like the sanded off Gérard.
I think it was Let the Sunshine In.
Sure.
The Claire Denis
movie.
Film where he comes in at the very end.
A movie about how French men are normal.
A movie I love.
Great movie.
And ends with France's most normal man being her therapist, her like spiritual.
Yeah. It's a good twist.
And he shows up just in a close-up, like jump scare,
He's like a psychic. He's reading her fortune. Right.
Like 80, 90 minutes in, I swear to God, for a second I went like, is this movie in 3D? Just looking at his face in 2015 or whatever. And you saying like Peter Weir was like, who's this French man who keeps popping up on my screen?
Little bit.
We should clarify.
I can't shake this
He
guy.
wasn't buying tickets for Depardieu movies. There were just Depardieu movies playing on the screen next over and his nose slid in.
I invade. So he writes this screenplay with Depardieu in mind. Doesn't tell the actor I'm thinking about you or anything like that. He's just kind of like, all right, the Englishman thing is not sparking for me. What if I wrote it for a Frenchman? He's afraid of calling him up to say that he did this. So instead, he took a picture of him that ran with an interview he gave in the local paper and he kept it on his desk. And he would just look at it and I guess probably just go like, whoa! Like every time he looked, wow, there he is again. Danton, he likes the picture. The Frenchman, Gérard Depardieu, had never given an English language performance. So it's not even like, you're not even automatically assuming he'd work, in a movie where he has to speak English. Here's the things that he was interested by: his masculinity, his vulnerability, his mysterious contradictory quality of child and man, beauty and beast. I mean, yeah, sure.
Here's the thing I'll throw out that I think is worth considering as well. He's just done, Peter Weir, 3 big A-list Hollywood movie star movies in a row.
2 Harrison Fords and then
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
He gets along with these guys really well, but that's a level of stardom where the plus side is automatic green light, big budget given to you,
totally
confidence from studio. The downside is you got some co-authoring with those guys.
And you're on their rails.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like, obviously, with Mosquito Coast, he went against type with Ford, and Ford's there with him.
Yeah.
But then the reaction from everyone is like, this doesn't make sense for Harrison Ford.
That's too much for Harrison
At the
Ford.
time, everyone was just like, nah, he's trying to do something he can't do.
It does feel like he is strategically here trying to make a movie where it can be his movie and he is selecting actors. And unlike those guys who are going to command a big salary, but also an automatic green light, the alternate way to go about this is to basically bet on movie star futures and get 2 people who are in a transitional state where you can point to, here's what's worked up until now. And if I can get them over this line, suddenly you have a movie star who's worth more than you paid for them.
There's also, that's such an interesting thing in the case of Depardieu, I think, because I think usually when you're betting on movie star futures, it's that people haven't fully figured out their persona yet when you're betting on. And here, the movie does have to be so catered to the Depardieu-ness of it all because he's so, like, there's no way for him not to be that. So it's just an interesting thing because he's not Harrison Ford, but
Did you ever do like an action movie?
Harrison Ford?
No, Gérard Depardieu.
I don't know.
Yes, it was. I don't know.
I genuinely was wondering.
Him buying a fucking piece of ham. I don't know. No, I don't know. I feel like he never was that.
I guess what I'm saying is that like he has such a star persona, you know?
Yes, he does. He does.
And that's just an interesting sort of, you know.
And his star persona is like.
And obviously it's untested in the United States, but it's also just so like. The minute you see it, you're like, okay, I get it, you know?
His
like
star persona was inherently a little lascivious. And it starts with him making these like really edgy sex comedies where he's a young man. And it's just sort of like, man, this like young, dumb, full of cum guy who's got this life to him, you know, and he's like built like a fucking rugby player. And then, yes, as it goes on, it's like he becomes this more legitimate, like versatile, heavyweight leading man, but there is always that like sexual charge to him, which is like some of the stuff where I struggle with this movie, where you're like, this character is not presented in a way that makes me uncomfortable, but the movie is pointing to a character and I can't stop thinking about how right past that line, real world Gérard Depardieu starts.
Well, no, and obviously again, it's, you know, trying to think of where we were then and where we are now. At the same time, I think one of the interesting things, and I agree with you, maybe I wouldn't say troubling, but one of the things, hurdles you have to get past is people keep talking about how dangerous this man is.
Yes, right.
And how he's, you know.
It's baked into the text that this guy seems like he could
something
be.
unpredictable.
And obviously we get to the point where it's like, oh, he just did like kid stuff, whatever. And yet you're sort of like, oh, did he do something real bad? Because I feel like this guy could have done something real bad.
That's the innate dangerous energy Depardieu has, and I think Weir was really smart to make a movie that leads with that. Right. You're worried, and then the chips start to the layers fall away.
And there's that moment where he gets mad and he slams the thing, and her picture falls down and breaks glass. And I don't know. There's a weird. It's an interesting thing, and it's obviously modern opinions versus now, but there's an interesting thing to reckon with too, where, I don't know, if a man ever did that, like, that freaks me the fuck out, like, a little bit, you know? And I think it gives the movie, I think, this oddness that you have to reckon with now.
Which also, I like this movie a tremendous amount as well, but it is kind of predicated on Andie MacDowell keeps not being satisfied by these kind of hyper woke liberal
Craig Edelman,
New York soft.
I mean,
him out of here.
No, I know, but this movie sets up like a series of like
he's the big one,
indefensible Baxters.
Yeah, right.
And the way she talks about her past relationships.
Right. Yeah.
And you're like, this guy doesn't even eat meat. Yeah. All of this is not stuff I hold against the movie.
It's the no oil, no salt is where Edelman loses me.
Yeah.
Or no butter, no
but
salt.
But
whatever, you know.
It does feel like in doing that, the framework is anything you might find unsavory about Gérard Depardieu is just a byproduct of him being quote unquote a real man.
Well, it must suck.
Real men do get angry.
Edelman gets the fucking call for this. It's like you're playing a chinless loser.
Right.
Depardieu's gonna throw you through
and
a
also
window.
Depardieu like fucking clocks you for being too sexually pushy. Like that's the worst case scenario as an actor. Right. Is Depardieu is like, you are not respecting women's boundaries. Throws him down a flight of stairs.
Playing Georges Faré.
Yes.
So Depardieu reads the script finally, loves it. Says, for me, this is a great situation. You can make a comedy with this, but you can also make the truth. He likes the setup. He's committed to make 2 other movies, so he can't shoot Green Card for the year and a half. Weir is like, fuck, like I want to make this. Katzenberg's
what year is this?
We're talking probably like 88 or whatever, because Katzenberg at Disney goes like, it's fine. We'll put the movie on hold. We can start in 18 months. Here's the script, by the way, in the meantime. Dead Poets aside. goes off and makes Dead Poet Society. And so Katzenberg is like, you can have final cut on green card. I like this script. It's not going to be expensive. Like, go for it. Which cool. Like God bless. Like, they don't do that much anymore. And Weir, I think, somewhat convinces Disney to basically just be a distributor, gets a lot of like independent financing.
Mm-hmm.
Like makes like an Australian French co-production.
There was still
gets like a big profit from the movie. Like Weir made like a ton of money off this movie because he had like a genuine cut.
Yes, he got the Australian Film Board to partially finance this movie.
He's making it essentially. No Australians are in it.
Right. I guess at that point in time there was still a lower tier kind of level of support you could get if it is a Australian filmmaker and some number of Australian crew people, even if you don't film in Australia or with any Australian cast. So he really built this movie in a way that is closer to modern film financing and kind of made out like a bandit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. While having the full support of Disney in the United States.
Depardieu barely spoke English. They would translate the screenplay into French for him and then translate it back in English so he understood what he was saying. Depardieu's famously like completely lost in 1492, which is the Ridley Scott movie in which he plays Christopher Columbus. It's one of the worst. It's the worst Ridley Scott movie ever made. It sucks so hard. And I think part of what happened there was he truly did not know the lines he was saying. Is like what is supposedly, and Ridley Scott was probably just like eating cigars and just being like, just get on with it or whatever.
I mean, this movie benefits from leaning into his like rough franglais.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's sort of, it doesn't even, right, it doesn't even matter.
No.
Depardieu didn't really have a desire to be a Hollywood actor, didn't feel like he was ever going to become one based on how he speaks, right? And like, I do feel like, though he made a lot of Hollywood movies, after this, he largely just sort of plays villains or comical oafs.
My Father the Hero is the year after this.
Yes.
That's certainly comical oaf. Then
like what's the Dalmatian?
1492 is the year after that. The Dalmatian?
Isn't he in 102 Dalmatian?
Oh, he's in 102.
Yeah, isn't he the villain in that?
He's Cruella's right-hand man.
Right. I saw that film in theaters.
Yeah. I'm sorry. The French My Father the Hero is 91. The American remake, which he also starred in, was 3 years later.
Right.
And then I feel like there's one other big, there's like Bogus, which is insane.
Never even heard of that one.
Bogus is Norman Jewison's last theatrical film, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Unless, no, The Hurricane.
The Big Three. Whoopi Goldberg, Gérard Depardieu, and Haley Joel Osment.
Exactly. It's Haley Joel Osment is an orphaned boy who's taken in by Whoopi as his godmother, and Gérard Depardieu is his drunk French invisible friend named Bogus.
So far, it sounds like a role he's suited for.
But then, right, he's in Branagh Hamlet, he's in Man in the Iron Mask.
Right, well, he's obviously, right, in Man in the Iron Mask, that's kind of where they found him.
Correct.
That kind of like, yeah, you can play a drunk French musketeer.
But then also, most importantly, in 1999, he does a film called Asterix and Obelix versus Caesar, and he's like, I don't need this American bullshit. I got an Asterix movie every 3 years, no matter what.
Yeah, and like, I mean, Griff, you and I have certainly both seen Le Placard, like that gigantic hit. Like he made, made giant French movies.
A movie where you cannot believe Disney didn't remake that in 2005.
Yeah.
Do you know this movie, Esther?
I do not.
It's Daniel Auteuil as a man who's going to be fired from his job as an exec at a condom company.
It is at a condom company. It's the most French-ass.
And his next door neighbor is like an old, sad, gay French man who is like, I could never come out, but I tried to march and this and that. But the times have changed. And now if I were gay, they wouldn't have been able to fire me. And it inspires Daniel Auteuil, and he tells everyone that he's gay and he was fired by discrimination.
Well, and it's like, because they're a condom company, they cannot fire a gay man,
right?
Is the implication.
But then they basically make him like the spokesperson for the company. They keep traveling, like pushing him around saying like, look at our gay employee.
And Gérard Depardieu plays the boss who has to do the Seinfeld-y, like, not that there's anything wrong with that, and then starts to be like, am I in love with you?
Yes. Depardieu is incredibly funny.
He's very funny.
It's like perfect.
It's a really dumb movie. It was like, it made like 1 trillion francs. It was like a giant smash hit.
It won the Olympics that year. France submitted it in track and field. But yes, like that's the kind of stuff he then gets into where it's like he's playing Obelix, he's playing like funny supporting guy. He'll have
he does art movies or whatever.
2 scenes behind a desk and in a cop drama or whatever it is. It does feel like he kind of never did a movie where he was running around holding a gun. But even like him showing up in like La Vie en Rose was just sort of like, if you're going to make a legitimate French movie, you need 3 minutes of Depardieu. But he's like blessing your production.
Maybe, but I do feel like he stopped, like the whole thing with him in the 70s and 80s is he is a true collaborator with like a lot of the like giant French filmmakers. And that kind of goes away. He's still like a mainstay in French cinema, but he is not being picked up by like the newer names in French cinema at all.
I think he stops being collaborative, period. Yeah, and I think he becomes a shut up and pay me guy.
Who's impossible to work with and is the sex offender.
There's one I really like called When I Was the Singer.
Okay.
And it's him and Cécile de France.
When I Was a Singer.
It's called something like
Quand
that.
j'étais chanteur by Xavier Giannoli.
It's sort of an attempt to do a
sort of Fabulous Baker Boys thing. Like he's one of the few remaining dance band singers in France.
It's that plus Lost in Translation. It's this sort of like weird, is this guy sad, stuck in the middle in a loop kind of movie that I thought he was very good in.
Sure.
Yes. But it definitely feels like the 2000s are the last time where he even kind of gives a shit.
I mean, true. Like if you look at his, it's like I just have not heard of many of these movies and I've not heard of many of these filmmakers. Whereas in the 70s, he worked with Rene, he worked with Bertolucci, obviously.
He worked with Truffaut.
Yes. I mean, that Last Metro is incredible. Like, he worked with, Bertrand Blier, Under the Son of Satan is a big movie that is Marcus Pliat. He's a zillion things. And obviously Jean de Florette is like kind of a big breakout.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All the way to
It's another
America.
thing that helps push him to America.
Yeah.
But like 2022, which is the last year before his legal troubles completely consume him, he has 7 credits. And I think what you're talking about, Esther, of like the act of trying to introduce a star, right? Or like explode them in that way, getting someone who has the potential and the juice potentially, was so different at this point in time with international stars.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it is insane. I think it is one of the few things where I feel the need to constantly give Netflix credit. Netflix figured out how to get people over subtitles.
Right.
It is
fascinating.
Right. That it was just always like, even people would struggle with British shows and you'd have to fucking remake them in English, in American English. And Netflix has just made it like, we are an international company. Everything goes on the same site. It catches on with this audience.
And you watch it with subtitle. You watch everything with subtitles.
Totally. And so if like someone pops in Squid Game, Hollywood isn't like, oh, I watched this weird thing. This guy is good. How do we find a new way to introduce him to a new audience from square one, as if to them, he hasn't done anything? It's like, no, put the Squid Game guy in Star Wars. Like there is a kind of open playing field in that way. Even I feel like Omar Sy, who was like one of the last guys where it's like, this dude's become the biggest star in France. Let's put him in Jurassic World. And you're like, oh, he's in this. He hasn't really made an impact. He's in a couple other American action films. Then he does Lupin, a French series. And everyone's like, oh, cool. Yeah. Show us the real fucking thing.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel, though, that there are still hurdles for a lot of these people in the sense that what it was sort of what you were talking about earlier. So I don't want to repeat anything, but it's like, it's the Mads Mikkelsen thing of what they're getting in the United States is still like third lead in a Star Wars thing, or, sort of some villain role. I think it was sort of what you were talking about with Li Bian-hung on your No Other Choice episode, which is that like, the American roles have not been, and this is, I mean, I guess this is not really his is not really post Squid Game, but like still, he's still getting better work in South Korea.
He's had like 6 franchisey big budget movies in which he played a principal character, and all of them are basically exactly the same, and did nothing for his career other than normalizing his name above a poster in America. And then you're like, yeah. And then in his fucking homeland, he gets to do whatever the hell he wants. He's got like infinite range of versatility.
And like, I mean, I was just looking at it because I was like, what has Omar Sy done like post? And it's like he's doing upcoming. He did the John Woo remake of The Killer, and upcoming he has.
Some people told me that was kind of good.
Yeah, I never watched it, but I
John
heard it was
Woo did
directed.
it himself.
He directed
And
it. Yeah.
Natalie Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
And
John
I was
Woo doesn't have a perfect track record these days.
No.
Right. Yeah.
What was that Christmas movie?
That movie was Silent Night. It was
Terrible.
The worst shit I ever saw.
But Omar Sy's next big thing is Shadow Force, a Joe Carnahan, like, I think direct to something.
Yeah, I think
it's
it's
like,
been in the can
Netflix.
for a while.
I think
yeah.
that came out. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
No, it says it's in post.
I'll say this.
I don't know. Whatever.
I went.
Well, maybe that did come out.
It came
I have
out.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came out last year.
I went to see
Okay.
Thunderbolts, and they were holding us. We couldn't leave the theater because
you were so excited.
Because the Thunder Force,
Shadow Force.
The Shadow Force.
Shadow Force, the Shadow Force premiere was happening at the same time,
Right.
and they held us in the lobby of the AMC Lincoln Square so that Omar Sy could get to his
Right.
limo.
Like, the Shadow Force is here.
Yeah. Lupin.
I don't know. It still feels very hard for that true, like, crossover
It does.
Yeah, it's
It does.
unusual.
in a leading
Yes.
role.
I think the only thing that's changed is it used to be like Gérard Depardieu has been one of France's biggest stars since 1975. And now we are going to present them to you and explain to you how historic they are and ask you to just buy in here in his third decade, right? And that's like what would sometimes feel like a psyop of like the way there was so much energy behind trying to get Robbie Williams to connect to America.
Well,
And it
you
was-
make him a monkey.
Yeah, it took him too long to figure that out. But everyone's response to that was just sort of like, why do you keep telling me how big this guy is? Let me form my own opinion. I think that tends to fuck people a little bit. And when Gérard Depardieu's whole thing is so strange to begin with, you're like,
Yeah.
are you tricking me?
The hair is just,
You don't like my hair?
I don't like it.
He's too mushroomy for you.
It's too much for me.
So Andie MacDowell, he took a year to find her.
Mhm.
Not that she was nobody, but like, he auditioned people for a long time, but he liked her.
I assume
Not
he
much
saw
going on
Sex Lies, or was it?
Yeah. And
okay.
Gerard loved Sex Lies and Videotape.
Weird. Which parts of that title do you think he liked?
He was like,
Lies.
he was like, I too film people.
I love to lie.
He might have added like 5 more words to that title.
So Peter Weir really enjoyed making the film. Had final cut. He had a great, incredible amount of control. Katzenberg did want the ending to change, and was basically like, if you reshoot it, if they don't separate, if they humiliate the wretched immigration officer, I think you're going to make like double your money. And Weir was just like, I thought about it, but I was just like, no way. Like, the ending is the ending. Like, which I also think Katzenberg's kind of wrong.
I agree.
I mean,
think
maybe
Jeffrey Katzenberg is wrong.
Jeffrey Katzenberg make the sort of wrong decision.
Has he? I mean, what about if he comes up with an idea for
I'm reading here.
vertical short form?
It's crazy you say that, Esther. I'm reading here in the dossier. He also pitched to Peter Weir, what if the ending is 5 minutes long, doesn't play at the end of the movie, it plays as the final installment of a Quibi original you can only watch after sundown.
He was right about many things, obviously. He was once a very savvy executive. I mean, I guess he's just kind of going for the, like, you need a happy ending for good word of mouth. But I think the green card ending leaves feeling pretty satisfied.
It's very
like,
satisfying.
you're like,
The
they're gonna
ending,
figure it
again,
out.
that's-
Like,
that's
For
the
all
magic
my
of the ending.
quibbles
Yes.
with Depardieu
Yeah.
and how I couldn't, I was just like, ugh, I love it. Like, I love the ending so much, and it's perfect. I mean, I think that's another rom-com thing that we like talk about a lot. It's the perfect sort of like bittersweet ending that I think some of my favorite rom-coms do, that it's like,
And you're watching the whole movie thinking, all right, so what are they going to pick here for the ending? Like, because like, the sort of roads that this movie can take. And they pick the right one. Like, that's how I feel watching. I'm like, yes, good job, guys. Like,
because it's because I think, and again, this is sort of the thing that I like about the movie. It's all of these beats that don't happen exactly the way you would expect them and don't feel perfectly tied up in a bow. They don't have like some amazing sex and then are like, oh, I have to be with you. And they aren't like, and they don't get their perfect happy ending, but they do find that they're in love with each other and he does have to go back to France. Like, it's just like, it's sort of.
The big moment is he gets it wrong.
Yes.
In the interview. And that's when he realizes, like, oh, but there are actually a million things I do love about her, and who cares that
I would love to call up Bob right now and ask him if he could name the face cream that I use, though.
I'd be like, I don't know, it's like in a blue container. I don't know the fucking name of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that like that is the one it hinges on, where like, and then I mean, his bigger fuck up is that he says that I memorized all of them. I think that's how he messes up. If he had just not remembered it, he would have been fine. But it is funny that it's like, I guarantee you Bob would not be able to name the face cream that I use.
Hans Zimmer did the score. Young Hans Zimmer in his sort of more synthy days. Very good score in my opinion. But the composer
does have a little bit of that Hans Zimmer sort of exoticism that people sometimes get mad at them.
Well, his early like, scores are very world music.
Yeah,
totally.
Do you revisit this score?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Those early Zimmer scores are really good. Rain Man, there's a third one. Like, I'm a big fan of Lion King.
It's just visualizing you.
The Lion
throwing this on.
Remember when Jeffrey Katzenberg almost got bit by a lion?
Yes. I mean, no, but yes.
Do you know this? Do you know this video?
I do. Yeah. Wait.
No,
I want Ben to finish his thought and then.
Oh, I just find it very weird to be like, what did I do today? I listened to Green Card soundtrack.
That's why we love David, though. There is a video.
I'm doing a thumbs up
of a promotional event for The Lion King where they brought out a real lion, or maybe it was like the illustrator. I can't remember exactly what it was. Somebody can correct me, but basically the long story short of this is that it seems like Jeffrey Katzenberg might get eaten by a lion in this video.
Right. The lion gets aggressive and the lion gets aggressive,
like towards Jeffrey Katzenberg.
So when this film, I want to say, begins with R.I.P. to her. We love her and we miss her. The 9 train. Little shot of a 9 train disappearing. Yeah,
you need to tell us about the 9 train.
You don't know about the 9 train.
I don't know.
You're kind of pre-9 train. Back in the day,
I was born in 1990.
Yeah, well, the 9 train was still existing then, but it was on its way out. So back in the day, Ben, on the 7th Avenue line, the red lines of the subway, right? There's the 1, 2, and the 3.
Yeah.
Right? The 2 and the 3 are express in Manhattan. The 1 is the local.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a 9 train on that line too.
Weird.
And it was a local as well. It was the same as the 1 in every way, except
there's no 8 train.
There used to be an 8 train, Ben, long ago.
What the hell?
Yes, there used to be an 8 train as well in the Bronx. Let's not talk about that right now. But the 9 was skip stop with the 1 north of 96th Street. So like when the 1 is on its own. And the idea was just like, at rush hour, like just to speed things along, these trains kind of like hop. And it was too annoying. And I think people who lived in Upper Manhattan and the Bronx didn't even like it that much. For me, who lived on that line, but not in the skip stop area, it did nothing different from a 1 train. But I was just still always, if it got a 9, I was like, look, a 9 train.
It was so funny to get to the platform and be like, what's here? 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. I bet I can guess what the 4th train is.
9!
Skipping all the way over.
Yes. So when Peter Weir, this movie has great New York, I would say, energy in general.
I would agree.
Is navigating a subway station. He hears a chorus of voices led by the unhoused singer Harry Stewart and the the Emma's Group singers, named after Harlem's Emma's House for the unhoused. And he was like, I love this. I want this to be in the film. So that's why those guys are in the movie.
Opening.
Yeah.
Yes. I do want to call out because I know what happened while I was in the bathroom.
Uh-oh.
I do think Hans Zimmer's score in this is great.
We already talked about that.
I just wanted to second
Did you hear us or did you just think
I heard David saying this was an early Hans Zimmer score.
It's a great score.
I think a lot of the early Hans Zimmer comedy scores have aged to varying degrees.
Yes.
Some of them age better than others.
I was just talking with Esther about his kind of early like world music vibe.
But also the
he's still doing it.
Stuff.
Dune.
Right. I think this is like kind of one of the better comedy era Zimmer scores.
I like that era of his career. It's interesting to hear it now, obviously knowing what he like turned into.
Correct.
which has turned into something interesting as well. It's just like completely different.
But this is like, it's so much my problem of the modern rom-com, which barely exists, but what does exist feels like it is just trying to be one step elevated above the like Hallmark Christmas movie churn, which is this could have been shot anywhere and we're pretending it's anywhere else. And rom-coms benefit so much from like a place of specificity, from the feeling of like neighborhood haunts and like the rhythm of whatever the fucking city or the town is. And like just the fact that I put this movie on and immediately it's like subway drummer, people getting on and off the train.
No, I mean,
I'm like,
so
this is set in a place. And it speaks to very quickly what is kind of actually the biggest point this movie is making. We talk a lot about the cinema of men will literally blank to avoid going to therapy.
One of your favorite, tropes.
Yeah. This is, and I think this movie's dead on the money.
Can I say it?
Yeah.
Women will literally get married to get a great apartment.
I think it's women will literally do anything to get the right apartment.
Amen. And
women in New York City.
Yeah, I was going to ask,
In
would
particular.
you get green card married to get that apartment?
Fucking
And because my answer is 100%.
I would marry
yes.
Depardieu now.
Same.
I wouldn't pay his legal fees.
Yeah.
Same. But
that has to be specified.
that's a thing this movie
I'm
gets
joking,
so
to be
right
clear.
that has
He's a terrible
only
person.
aged better with every successive year. The opposite of Gérard Depardieu, who ages worse every year,
Yep.
is you're just like, yeah.
So now
You could justify almost anything in the reality of the movie if there's an apartment this good on the market.
Now, I did look it up, and it is. They
It's
did.
not real.
It's a soundstage.
I'll tell
Okay,
you.
but
I'll,
still-
I'll tell you.
Because
Right,
imagine if
can
that
I t-
happened.
can I
Imagine
tell
if
you?
there was. Is there a greenhouse in an apartment?
I mean, maybe somewhere. Yeah. So I'll tell you. The
Okay.
first garden that they used that's a community plot, that's a real place. There was another garden that's like a treed garden.
The
right?
one
Like,
that in Bebe Neuwirth's parents.
Correct. That they basically moved a bunch of crabapple trees in Central Park's Conservatory Garden, which is on 5th and 105th, over to like a sort of terrace to create that kind of like
Yeah.
fakey. It's sort of like the Frick or whatever, like this weird kind of
Yeah. It looks
indoor-
sort of.
yeah.
It looks so. Yeah.
The main apartment.
It looks like the
obviously-
part of MoMA outside of the modern.
Right. Yes, like that too. Exactly. And the main apartment, yes, they built it on a soundstage because they were like, we are building paradise here. Like we like, it's such a specific vibe. It's supposed to be basically out of her dreams with the arch and the wall fountain and the tiles and all this stuff. But very cool. I'm sure there are places in New York, yes, like weird. Don't you think so, Esther?
I'm
Like weird
sure.
pre-war buildings that are like, oh yeah, there's the weird conservatory apartment.
I love that it's also not just, man, there's a great apartment. She wants it really
No,
badly.
it's
That
really
it's so
important
specifically
to-
tied to her interests.
To her
and
interest, yeah, to
behaviors.
her,
Yeah.
and I love the fucking co-op board, by the way, being like the one lady's like, well, I like the couple from the bank, and the other guy's like, she's a horticulturalist. Like, she'll probably be good for this place.
I mean, my best friends often mentioned on this podcast, Sophie Fader and Hawken Lindsay. He is a ceramicist.
Cool.
And it's like,
So he lives in a kiln.
living in New York City, he's constantly having to like calculate everything based on what kind of work he could legally do within a New York living space.
Right.
You know?
Am I allowed to have X in this house?
Right.
Sorry, I literally just Googled greenhouse, New York greenhouse apartments, and there's a Street Easy thing, and honestly, this is like,
It looks like a dream apartment.
yeah, and like, I mean, it's very expensive, but it's not as expensive as I thought it was.
Okay,
gonna
can
be.
I ask a couple questions? Because you're trying to figure out why it's
Upper
so
West
cheap.
Side, Upper West Side.
You're trying to figure out why it's so cheap. Washer dryer included?
Yeah.
Walk up?
Yes.
In unit Depardieu?
No.
Because that would drive the price down.
Yeah, I was going to say that knocks about $200,000
Yeah.
off your list.
If there is a non-negotiable
Unfortunately, a French ogre lives here.
in unit Depardieu, they might pay you to live there.
Yes, he's just there being like, oh, your coffee is bad, and I
don't-
like butter.
I don't want to keep going back to the same joke, but it is crazy how much he looks like Shrek.
He is Shrek.
He is Shrek. And he only becomes more and more Shrek. Do you know who voiced Shrek in France?
Was it Gérard Depardieu?
No, Alain Chabat, because they were like, that's too fucking
Too
on the
obvious.
nose.
Too obvious.
It's too on the bulbous
Does he-
nose
wait,
if we hire
Does
Gerard.
the French guy voicing Shrek do a regional accent? You know, like a sort of
Is this you do the French version of Scottish?
like what's the French version of a Scottish accent?
We're back to French
We're
stereotypes.
back to this. Yeah. I believe he does. You know Alain Chabat. The great Alain Chabat.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know him personally. Be funny if
you should meet Alain.
Be funny if I did.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find what kind of accent. Keep going through the dossier.
One of my favorite films that Alain Chabat made, where he was, because he would direct and star, is just called this. Rrrr! Not kidding. That's what it's called.
It's called Rrrr? What's it about?
I don't know. Sort of looks like holes.
Okay.
Rrrr!
He also made a movie called Didier about a dog.
Sounds great.
It's a dog who turns into a person. He plays the dog.
Sounds like good shit.
Made $1 trillion in France. Didier is on their money.
Shrek 5 got moved.
Yes.
Right?
To summer of
I think they had to redo some of the voices or something, or maybe
people
redo
think they were redoing the animation because people didn't like the new character designs.
Oh, interesting.
I think it
Sort of a
also might
Sonic
be script
situation?
things. They're taking some big swings on this.
Was
one.
it that people like figured out what Shrek 5 is about, didn't like it, and so now they're scrambling?
It's maybe.
Interesting.
I don't know. I heard what Shrek 5 was about a couple of years ago.
What you described to me didn't sound great.
But it was a big swing. It
Okay.
was wild.
Well,
And I
off
could
mic, you got to tell me.
I will. I could see them either panicking and going, do we have to rethink this? Or saying, if we're going to do this, we have to get
Like
it right.
Yeah.
So the plot of Green Card, which is a tidy, hour 45, this film. And it's a film with, it's got a great cast, but like pretty much all of the supporting players,
One
it's
scene.
like a couple scenes.
But
Right.
Prosky comes in,
Oh.
just knocks it out of the fucking park.
He must have had more.
I'm doing Prosky right now.
He must have had more scenes. I'm sorry.
believe you broke the law.
I mean, his character's name is Bronte's lawyer. We should mention.
Her name is Bronte Parrish.
because all
Annie
of her
MacDowell.
because her dad named all of her siblings after authors.
So it's Bronte, Austen,
Elliot,
Elliot, right?
Mhm.
Colette.
Very nice. Very
Colette.
nice. After female author.
Yeah.
And then who's the fifth one?
I don't
Can't
fucking
remember
know.
him.
Oh, Kuntz. Dean Kuntz.
Yeah, there you go. My name's Kuntz.
Sometimes he
Kuntz
just
Parrish.
like to pick up a trashy airport paperback.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Oh, it's a fun read.
Yeah, Robert Prosky crushes, I
Mhm.
would say,
Mhm.
in his one scene.
Yeah.
You've got the great John Spencer as
Mhm.
like a nice horticulturalist. You've got
Lois
Smith as
Ugh.
Bronte's mother.
Yes.
Who's like, when she bad?
As you mentioned before, Neelix, Dr. Neelix.
Did you spot Ann
Ethan
Dowd?
Phillips. Ann Dowd is
Yeah,
Peggy.
quick
Yes,
Ann
a
Dowd.
young Ann Dowd. Not
Yeah.
a bald one.
Nope.
Nope.
No.
Quite a head of hair on this one.
Right. What if, and I'm sure that bald Ann Dowd, who I know,
Friend of the show.
yes, has interacted with Ann Dowd in some way at this point. I'm not actually sure. But like, what if one day Ann Dowd does take it all off for a role? Just to
Oh,
kind of
my God.
complete the circle.
Yeah.
It shows up, like, does a THX remake or something, like something where she's bald. I don't know.
I mean, my favorite
Yes.
performance in this movie,
Yes.
Bebe Neuwirth.
Bebe,
Oh my
amazing.
God.
Just
And it's,
Also, can
it's
we
not
just talk about?
illegally hot.
That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I was
Like,
gonna say. Can we
such
talk
a
about
babe.
how Bebe Neuwirth is the hottest?
I wanna
person
talk
to
about Bebe.
ever.
And
I just
it's
want her to
live.
like throw me into like a sewer and just like spit on me.
Also, has these little like rat earrings. Did you clock
I did
her?
call her
I
cool rat
clocked-
earring.
earrings are
I clocked
incredible.
everything that was going on here.
Because this is her second film role.
Period.
Period. Her
What's-
first film role is Say Anything, which she has a small role in.
Yes, very small.
Obviously, she'd been on Cheers for years in that kind of
she's-
like quasi-supporting role. Like sort of quasi-guest, quasi-supporting,
She's got like 2 standalone guest appearances. Then they decide to bring her back. Then she becomes a recurring. Then she becomes a regular. And then she goes back down to recurring.
Right. She got
She wins 2 Emmys.
2 Emmys.
Does she have
Two
both
Emmys.
of them by the time she does this movie?
She has one.
And she's got another one to
and she has
come.
one more the next year.
That's what's crazy.
But she had already won a Tony for Sweet Charity. I mean,
Mhm.
she's a big theater actor.
But she
obviously.
won a second Emmy for the final season when she demoted
Of Cheers.
herself
She's
to
still supporting.
recurring.
Yeah.
But she did enough episodes to count.
Back
Yeah,
then,
no, I
they
know.
were very like
Yeah.
fungible about it, I think. She has 2 Tonys, of course. Can you tell me her second Tony's for?
Chicago.
Of course.
Chicago.
I recently saw a clip from the current production of Chicago. I
Yeah,
don't know
because
who's
it's
in
the
it right
secret.
now.
It is the secret life of a Mormon wife.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I was kind of getting the vibe where I was like, if I paid for this, I think I would call the Better Business Bureau.
No,
Like, it looked pretty shocking.
Yeah,
because like she's obviously doing nothing, and the other ones are like, the other was just sort of around her, like flapping their arms around her.
They were on C-Track or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on over there? Is it time to wrap it up with Chicago?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But I think they keep making money by
it's very
like
cheap to make. Yeah.
by throwing all these like reality TV stars.
I also feel like all of their runs are pretty short, where they're like, if one of them sucks, they're out in 10 days, and maybe the next one's better.
And then the other thing about Chicago is there are like standbys, like who are have done it for years. Like I believe like Charlotte Dambois does it, who's like a legendary dancer and like does it all the time. Like there are people that can always do it, and Bianca Marriott, like there are people that can always do it, and they always just throw them back in.
But also, like, do twice a year do they pick up the red phone and go, Wayne Brady, we need you back?
Yes, I believe so.
We should get Wayne Brady on this show.
At the king of podcasts.
Remember when he crushed it on Comedy Bang Bang?
Yeah.
He was so good.
Wayne Brady's awesome.
Plugging that headgum show that no one listened to.
Yes.
But he was so good on Comedy Bang Bang.
His WTF is amazing, too.
So
back to Bebe.
Neuwirth.
Yeah, Bebe.
The big Bebe.
I mean,
it's not like this is her best work ever, but it is such a great time capsule of Bebe at kind of
also when
peak
she
power.
Is like when they go over to dinner at her parents' house and she shows up and she's just like legs for days, and it is so, and you're just like, well, everyone should just like fuck Bebe because she's the hottest person that has ever lived.
She's like 2'5".
Yeah. She's a small
She's
woman.
so cool.
And yet she appears in anything and you're like, this is the funniest, smartest, coolest, and hottest person who has ever lived.
Very like debonair, very funny, very wry. She's very, very cool.
Also, you just want to hang out with her. She's so fun. Like this character, you sort of expect like, oh, is she going to be sort of like a villain? And she's like, nah, she's just like a fun hang.
Esther, that's exactly what I like about it.
Is she going to cause trouble?
Right.
You're like, is she going to make a pass at Depardieu and it's going to cause all kinds of problems?
She's sort of just like, no, she just likes to party. She's got rich parents and she's an artist and she just likes to party.
I think there's a really another real positive function of her character, which is you're set up to think, oh, she's going to stir some shit or she's going to try to steal Depardieu and she's going to make a bigger mess or any of this stuff. No, it's like you understand that this is Andie MacDowell's closer friend, that this is someone who can call Andie MacDowell out on her shit, knows her well, cares about her, and also is like, this guy's interesting. The cosign of, I don't know, there's something kind of going on there. It's less about that she's going to make a move on Depardieu and more that it forces Andie MacDowell to reconsider. Wait, you're interested in him?
Like maybe I should take a second look at this.
Yeah.
And I also feel like, I mean, it's another way in which the movie sort of subverts the tropes that you're expecting, which is, you know, hot brassy lady comes along and steals the guy and then he realizes that's not right for her, you know, and like that's not right for him. And it's like, no, she's just, again, she's hot and fun and having a great time.
Do you know what this movie feels like to me? It's like eating a birthday cake and then being told after the fact, this cake is entirely vegan. There were no eggs, right? Like it's soybean frosting. And you're just like, it tasted good. I didn't question it at all. And the more I study how you were able to make this without doing the usual things, the more I have to like applaud you.
Right. Without doing, as Esther said, like the tropey things you would imagine if I told you it's about a green card marriage and then they have to pretend to like each other and then they do like each other.
Removes all the unhealthy ingredients in a way that is so unshowy that you're taking it for granted of like, yeah, it's like doing a rom-com thing. And you're like, no, it's actually like harder.
I also think the other thing is when they're studying, you know, when they're doing sort of the part where they're studying each other and studying up on, there's something very earnest about it. Like, especially, there's something very, you know, they do the montage of them taking photos, but there's something so sort of like the genuine facts of like, how do you get to know a person as opposed to the sort of Hollywoodized version of like, let's just blast through this and like make it all a joke. There's something very genuine about like the way, you know, though I don't know if that is Gérard Depardieu's actual handwriting. But it looks like a serial killer's.
Interesting. Well,
That's
I
the
kinda
thing.
his personality doesn't suggest anything like that in his sort of backstory, the way he behaves. You know.
I think you're right, though, Esther, that like this movie deprives its characters of kind of like snappy, small talk, get to know you banter because of the language divide. So it's so often them communicating through actions or struggling to get the other one to understand their meaning, or then like basically leapfrogging to deeper, more direct questions, because the formality of needing to study for this test means that you're just like asking things you would never ask on a date.
But I will say that's also the thing that unsettles me a little bit about it too, which is like there's something unnerving about it too.
Like, what's the deal with this guy?
Yeah, like what's the deal with this guy? It's also just his presence. He's so, in addition to being like, you know, his face is sort of funny and his haircut is insane. Like he's so looming. He's so sort of terrifying and
seems kind of quick to anger, even though he doesn't explode that many times. And he's got some level of criminal history that he explains as like boyish shenanigans.
Yeah.
But also this series of tattoos that are all these kind of like impactful moments of his life that he can't really unpack.
There is the thing that like never is resolved, which is, you know, which is sort of scary, where he has the knife and it's like you draw the knife on one side if it's like the knife is drawn and then you put it back in its shaft once you've gotten your revenge. Did I say
you said shaft?
Okay, I think sorry.
John Shaft, of course.
Yeah, you put it back in its hilt. No,
it's sheath. Is that I would say.
Once you've gotten the revenge, and he hasn't gotten the revenge, so it's
he's
like
kind of giving you
like,
a Sean Connery Chicago Way monologue here, if you think about it.
It's just like there is a sense of danger to him,
Mm-hmm.
and I am not opposed to like rom-com leading men having that sense of danger.
Yes,
but maybe it's just the Depardieu of it all.
You guys are getting hung up on the real guy, which I understand.
Yeah.
But it's not just the real guy and his real actions. It is like, what is his energy on screen? And I do think, Esther, there's something to perhaps in this type of character, often you cast a charming person and have them as an actor work to affect a layer of edge on top of that can then melt away. And Depardieu is the opposite side of the equation, which is here's a guy who feels a little dangerous and he's working to like show you the charm inside of it. But so the edge never melts away.
But it's not really like, you know, it's not like a Heathcliff thing of like, this is a monster that she must tame.
He doesn't hang out with the calico cats or anything.
That's so true as well.
I
mean, and
here's the thing about that joke, which every person I know has made, or at least just 3 men that I know have made with the new Wuthering Heights.
It's the joke of the season.
It's a joke of the season. I think we maybe have to have a moratorium on that joke.
On that, wow, you're calling for an end to Heathcliff joke.
You're saying specifically Calico?
No, I think you did a good job with it.
Okay.
I'm just saying that, like...
Okay, all right.
I'm saying the other men you're talking about, were they just making jokes about Heathcliff the cat, or did they go for a specific
Calico? I have not heard the Calico angle yet.
No, I haven't heard the cat, and so I'm fine with it. I just think everyone thinks they're so fucking clever making a joke about the fucking cat, but, you know...
What if Emily Bronte was hearing about this?
How do you think Emily Bronte would feel about Heathcliff the cat?
Oh, the cat, I think she would be bemused.
Okay.
I don't think she'd mind the cat.
Guys,
what's up?
I'm sorry.
What's going on?
I need to...
They're not called the Calico Cats, are they?
Retire bit myself.
It's not Calico.
Hoisted by your own... You're hoisting
he's not
yourself
Calico,
to the ceiling?
he's orange.
No. But there's... he's
Calico
referring
critters, the line of toys, the little fuzzy animals.
Yeah.
I was confusing them with who Heathcliff hangs out with, who are the Cadillac cats.
Cadillac cats. This is from the Heathcliff like animated series.
Yeah,
right?
the one that was recorded while Mel Blanc was dying.
Right. They kind of like flew a drone into his hospital room. And we're like, I don't know, say some shit into the tape recorder.
What's up, Doc?
Wow, he really was on his way out.
The
Dang.
Cadillac cats.
Anyway, sorry to
Okay, no, you're right.
us.
Everyone is banned from making this joke
banned
now.
from making this joke.
You're right.
I do think there is a thing where if I had seen this movie when I was younger, prior to knowing the whole Depardieu of it all, I think I might have been more purely charmed. And just been able to get over my shit with that, you know? Yeah. And now, and it's again, like, I think I'm pretty good as a, you know, watcher of things to be like, to separate myself from, to put myself in the time period in which it was made, and to like, I mean, like, it's something you have to do for your job and like all of this stuff. But obviously, I do think if I had seen this when I was just before I knew all about, maybe if I was just an American moviegoer in 1990 who is like, I want to see this in Cyrano, and I'm just like charmed.
I think it's like he's just different. It's just like there's nobody like him.
There's nobody like him, and
that's the whole
so
appeal.
Weird. And it is. I do think that is a thing to the movie's credit, which is like you can't like recast it with someone else.
You can't, and like the movie, but also that the movie is not like this is a stunning like fucking babe. It's more like what is this?
What is this guy?
I got to look at this from 10 angles. Yes. Like, what's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
But it's just the whole
and everyone who
thing
meets him
is that like, but there is a whole thing where his energy is so off in a strange way, where like when he goes and plays, when he's asked to play the piano and he just like bangs on the keys and then plays like a lovely thing.
Kind of rocks.
It rocks.
I love that scene.
So weird. Like the first scene where they go to was that a real restaurant? I meant to look that up. The All Nations restaurant.
I didn't think so. I couldn't quite tell.
Where
what
it's like you just are like, hey, we have the Swiss dish and we have the, you know.
But let's even zoom out here for a second, right? The piano scene. We can dig into the piano scene as kind of emblematic of the whole thing. This movie's set up on the idea that he wants to become an American citizen because of the opportunities that could provide him in his career as a composer. And whenever she sort of asks him about it, because his English is so broken, he responds strangely. And I watched the movie the first time and like, is the composer thing a lie?
Right. Is he truly making this up? Because we don't really have any sense of him.
Is he making it up? Is
we know she wants to fucking have a husband so she can get this apartment.
This board won't approve. A modern woman living single.
Yeah. Right.
That doorman, what
I don't go for this women's lib. Hey. I hate it. The guy.
Yeah.
Also, that is what's sort of so strange about it, is that like, is he a composer? Is he not? Is he actually, you know, they talk about how he's, you know, he's got stuff in his past. Like, is he actually trying to be in America? Because he's on the run. Like, he is a composer, but there's no sort of, he gets fired from his restaurant job and he's like, well, that's fine. You know,
well, he says, I quit.
Yeah. And he says, I quit.
Everything's a little.
Everything feels a little like he's lying to you just in his persona. And then that never fully, he is a composer.
Right.
But some impression.
Can we unpack this scene for a moment? So like Bebe Neuwirth takes a liking to him, brings him to the party, right?
Yes.
When you're meeting Bebe and she's so big, part of you is going like, is she doing this to make her friend jealous?
Yeah.
Or is she just sort of such a like
she's
wild
just a fun girl.
Pre-rolling that she's like, I don't know, this guy's weird. Let me figure out what his fucking deal is. Everyone at the party is kind of a little confused, but like, oh, wow, a Frenchman. How interesting. Comes up that he's a composer. They ask him to sit at the piano. He sits there very intensely and then just starts like mashing the keys with his fists. And
to the point that you're like, he's been rumbled. Like, you know, he's making something up because he doesn't know how to do this. Initially, that's
what
it
feels like. Right. And then you're like, it's just like there are moments of tonality within it.
I still don't know if that was supposed to be a real piece.
I don't either.
I think it is, but
it's like,
you don't
is it
totally
him
know.
Saying "fuck you"? Is it? This is the kind of composing I do. You don't know, and you wonder like, is this him revealing that he's never touched a piano before in his fucking life? And then he like comes around and like plays this beautiful piece and does this spoken word poetry over that is like translated in real time. And it's Depardieu in close up while playing a piano, basically looking down the barrel of the lens with tears in his eyes. And I'm like, this is undeniably effective.
Right.
This is the whole movie is built around this, which is you're just like, why am I drawn into this? Right? This guy has not made sense to me up until this moment. And something is happening here that's emotionally affecting. And Bebe Neuwirth goes, I think you just got your flowers. And that's what happens. She got the trees because whatever Gérard Depardieu just did charmed the shit out of everybody. Then like 30 minutes later, when they're going through the studying for the test, he brings up or she repeats, they've filled in this information at some point. that he stopped playing music because he was in love with a woman. They got married. She died, and he couldn't hear the music anymore. And he realizes the way to explain in this interview why they fell in love, to make the case in the most ecstatic way without overly explaining that their love is real, is to say, when I met her, I heard the music again. Which is so kind of beautiful and poetic that you see her get charmed by that, even if it's only a strategic lie. The notion that he could think that way starts to open her up to him a little bit.
It is the rom-com leap that I think you have to make with a lot of rom-coms, which is like, if this were real life, how would I react to this? And there's something for me that is still, by the end, I get there. But for a lot of it, I don't know if I fully, there's something still like that creeps me out about
this movie.
The mystery that is written into the character. And the fact that even at the end, it still feels like I don't fully know this guy. And she is willing, and she has fallen for him, and he's written her this thing, and she's willing to do it. But
we don't even know what she's totally willing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
they know.
Well, and that's the thing.
They know something's going on that they can't ignore anymore. Like in the last scene.
To make a very dumb comparison point.
Make sure this is very dumb, please.
If you were to try to watch The Cosby Show and apply...
Let
me say this.
My 40X just activated.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
And try to apply cognitive dissonance and go, look at just this show, history, nostalgia for me, reminds me, right? You are in an episode of The Cosby Show, pretty unlikely to butt up against something that directly reminds you of everything you now know about Bill Cosby.
At this point, I'm not even talking about the Depardieu of it all. Yeah. Genuinely. I'm genuinely talking about the way this character is written.
This is my problem.
Is that there is still something that feels odd about him and off about him in a way that feels either potentially dangerous or potentially if David's shaking his head.
I'm not with you on this.
Yeah, let me finish my bridge here, because I think Esther and I are feeling the same thing, right? Which is like, if Cosby Show episodes...
Oh my God,
I don't want to talk about Bill Cosby.
I think you have to stop.
Yes.
You have to. I appreciate you defending me, but also I don't want to hear about Bill Cosby.
Because this is not defending me or you. This is me just like how I think about it, right?
Okay.
If Cosby episodes had him regularly going like, I'm going on a date tonight, I'd be like, well, now I can't stop thinking about what would happen on that date, right? And I think similarly...
No, that's not what I'm doing.
No, I just think the fact that there is mystery to this character, and the mystery is coded as being a little bit dark, it's hard not to let your brain go to darker things because of the guy who's playing it.
I don't even think that's it. I just think there is...
I understand what you're saying, Esther.
Yeah,
I just don't.
I don't think I have to say it again, because I'm just like, and we can just agree to disagree. I think there is something in the writing of the character that leaves me at arm's length.
Ben, you got to decide. You got to weigh in your take on Green Card, which we haven't heard yet.
Anyway, it's still marry him for the apartment.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you like this movie? I mean, you haven't weighed in.
It was okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm not a huge rom-com guy.
Yeah, what's your favorite rom-com?
I have no idea.
What? I guess I never thought about this. Yeah. You never really talk up a rom-com.
Yeah, no, nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing.
No. Not a single thing.
No.
All right, fair enough.
I'll look. Maybe there's one. But
there's got to be one.
But this is what I'll say. I watch Depardieu and I'm like, there's definitely moments where he's effective.
No question.
For sure.
Yeah.
He's got a great face, great nose.
Big old nose.
I don't see the Riz. It's not popping.
This is the question
for me.
of society, really. At the time and
the
now.
hair. The hair is such a problem.
Yeah.
He looks like a old ass painting come to life.
What you just described to me is the Riz.
Really?
Well, yeah, because how many people look like that?
I know, but it's like he should be wearing one of those like Shakespearean weird collars.
Well, he did find a movie or two where he's done that.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
I mean, if you want to see him in period dress, certainly.
Allow me to speed round a couple things.
Yes, please.
One, this is kind of...
You're allowed.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No Cosby.
That's true. With one corollary.
Okay, allow me to speed around one thing.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I'm joking. First of all, this is a really strong invisible craft movie. Weir has done so much at this point that he knows exactly how to service whatever type of film he's making. That having been said, there are 2 camera moves in this movie that I thought were so fucking
can I guess
classy.
one?
Yes.
Is it the what are those things called? In the door.
Oh, well, that's good. Yes. The kind of peephole in the door and the click.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. No, it's 2 moves.
Classy camera moves.
Yeah, where I was like, this is using the movement of the camera for storytelling and for emotional connection in a way that is so unshowy. One of them is when he's talking to Andie MacDowell's dad. Her parents show up unexpected, and he takes on the role of the handyman to justify why he's there. And her dad, you feel like, is sniffing him out as a fake. Andie MacDowell's saying, go, you're done. And he wants to stay because clearly he's interested in her enough that he's kind of curious to hear her parents, to eavesdrop in on this. And the dad goes into the kitchen after him, and he's going in, you worry, motivated by suspicion of who is this fake. When in fact, what's motivating him is, I kind of sense the heart of an artist inside you. I sense an artistic spirit inside you. You know, I used to work jobs like this when I was writing poetry. What are you really? I'm a composer. They're having this whole talk. They're having this male bonding thing. He notices that her dad has his arm on a table atop a bunch of papers, including their marriage license. And Depardieu's like, I got to get that fucking away from him so that he doesn't see and this whole thing doesn't explode. And he tries to grab it, and it kind of is too aggressive. The dad freaks out a little bit, or is a little shaken, falls to the ground. They both go to pick it up, and it's a Polaroid from their faked honeymoon. They stand on the roof of this apartment that is absolutely worth marrying Gérard Depardieu to get, with skis, and they fake like 3 different vacations they've taken together, put in the scrapbook. And the camera move is, these 2 men are both holding the Polaroid on opposite sides. And it's basically the POV of her dad. And the camera just like dollies up with Depardieu, of the 2 of them, the feeling of maintaining eye contact as they're holding this object that they know says a tremendous amount that now needs to be acknowledged in some way. And Depardieu holds that close up really fucking well. And it's that feeling of you are stuck in a moment, as you 2 would say, that you can't get out of.
It's
right.
so true.
And then there's another one, which is when
It's a beautiful day.
he basically drops Andie MacDowell off with a fuckhead boyfriend.
Yeah. Greg, what's his pants?
And
Phil.
Edelman.
Depardieu's like halfway down the block with envy, realizing for the first time jealous he is. And rather than walk the opposite way as he should, he walks towards them to basically challenge her. Are you going to break reality on this? Or are you going to treat me like a stranger? Either way, I get a closer view at whatever's going on with you. And the camera tracking with him as he does that is like really, really excellent.
I think you're speaking to what Weir brings to so many of the movies we've discussed so far and will continue to discuss, which is that kind of like quiet, classy, non-showy, but stylish,
logical,
like visual storytelling.
It is like, what does this moment need to convey?
Right.
And what is the best technique to get that feeling across in the story?
And it's like not as slick and over the top or like whatever, you know, like it's not going to pop in the way that certain big stylish filmmakers do.
Here's another thing I like about this movie that I feel like doesn't happen often enough. It's like a rom-com that isn't very funny.
No,
it would be.
It's a good point.
It would be false to categorize it as a rom-dram.
Right, but it's certainly not like a screwball movie with a bunch of lines.
It is funny. It has jokes. It more than anything, it has a sustained like comedic wavelength to it. But I think it's very concerned
It's not
with,
over the top.
It doesn't want to break its own reality.
Well, and the reality of it is something interesting that I wanted to bring up, which is that it is very rooted in like 1990 in 1990 New York.
Yeah.
And some of that feels a little creaky now. You know, I think the talk about, I mean, obviously some is just the time periods, but like the garden argument and like the underprivileged kids, we just bring such joy to their lives of chaos. I mean, it's also funny, this is the Lower East Side and now you know.
Even just this energy of, do you know some people don't eat meat?
Right.
Yeah.
And also there's
Yeah,
this moment.
you will have fish, of course. No, I don't eat that either. Yeah,
There's also a moment where she tells him he's being very right wing right now.
Yes.
Sure.
Because I am no wing. You are wing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pay taxes, to be clear.
And I pee any airplane I want. And not in the bathroom.
No. In fact, I avoid it. I
The
can't fit.
cockpit. Your cup of coffee.
But
The aisle.
it is a version of New York that is very rooted in the real world
It is.
of the time, as opposed to even, you know,
Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well,
the
Pretty
sort
Woman,
fakey
of
New
course,
York-y
but like,
movies, yeah.
you know, even the Nora New York, which is its own form of.
But she's got the sort of snow globe. New
She's got
York,
a
It's
snow globe
less of a
New York.
curated bubble. I mean,
Yeah.
even just down to like starting with like fucking subway musicians and
Yeah.
shit. It's like, this is like real New York. We're not doing your
And
kind
some of it feels a little
bespoke movie New
clunky,
York.
I think.
Yeah.
It's
But I think it's interesting. I think the weird thing about rom-coms is there are a good number that have this feeling of, you know, David put it, I believe in his letterbox, which I saw, but like the gentleness. And like, I do think there are a couple that, you know, get this, like, it's not really that funny, but they get the romanticness right.
And they're really tied into the characters. They are well observed.
Yeah.
My Letterbox review refers to a list of gentle movies that I curated for my wife after our first child was born.
Oh,
Where she was
interesting.
basically like, I cannot watch any movies with a lot of like peril or stress, and certainly no like danger to children. And so I like kind of like, I was like, all right, let's really narrow the focus to movies where it's like pretty low, like stakes. A lot of rom-coms, obviously. But you know, some other stuff too.
Yeah.
27 Dresses.
Uh-huh.
Where you're just like, who gives a shit the whole time? But
Well,
happy.
I'm a little worried if she's going to hit it 28 or not.
Morning Glory.
At the best.
Yeah.
Serendipity. The Paper.
I hate Serendipity.
It sucks.
You hate Serendipity.
I
Yeah.
hate
awful.
Serendipity.
The Paper, I do think, kind of fucking rules.
Yeah,
The-
the paper
the
the paper is so good.
The only issue with The Paper is that you're like, why isn't this a masterpiece?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because like it's totally good. Everyone in it's having fun. You have fun.
Paper's
but
like,
you're like, the ingredients are
Yep.
incredible.
it's a 3-star general, and the
Right.
whole time you're watching
Right.
it, you're like, shouldn't this just be perfect? What is it not pulling together?
Right.
David, did you only rate Working Girl 3.5 stars?
I don't like that movie that much.
That you
That's
are
silly.
fucked up.
I think that movie has huge flaws.
I would say
there are
hate
things
you.
about it I love.
I would say Working Girl is kind of the patron saint of the thing we're talking
Yes.
about, where
Yes.
it's like a rom-com mostly with dramatic actors
Yes.
who
Yes.
have comedic chops.
But it's not
But
that
it's not
funny.
the
funny.
comedy is more tonally.
I mean, the
Yeah.
funny stuff is like Joan Cusack going, "Wah!"
right. And it is kind of doing character
What?
study
No
stuff.
bows?
Kate and Leopold, one of my favorites. Someone Like You, a movie for nobody that I have seen like 5 times. Made in Manhattan, terrible. Forces of Nature, hugely underrated. Leap Year, 2 Weeks Notice. Fever Pitch, the British.
Leap Year definitely was a modern, semi-modern
Yes.
attempt to do the same
And it's
kind
not
of thing.
that good.
Yeah,
Hired
it's not
on a-
that
It does
good.
have There's No Room at the End, which we
You know what's
always
another
love.
one?
You have to sleep in this
You know what's
little
another
bed.
one that I
Yeah.
was thinking? Only You is another one that sort of does
Which one
this.
is that?
That's the Norman Jewison, Marissa Tomei, Robert Downey
Oh,
Jr.
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Is that good? I've always wanted to watch that.
It is one of those you have to like get over the hurdle that she seems fucking insane.
Because
Like-
it's like she's gonna get married,
She's
even
gonna
though her
get
destiny's to marry Robert Downey Jr.
Like it's like I'm trying to remember the exact thing, but it's like the night before her there's like a fortune teller who's like, you're
definitely gonna marry Robert Downey Jr.
you're gonna marry somebody with this name.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And so then she goes to like,
Robert
and so she
Downey Jr.
so then she goes to Italy, and he thinks trying to find this guy, and then Robert Downey Jr. lies to her that that's his name, and then it's like, you know,
Right. It sounds pretty good.
it's like
And by
it's
good, I
pretty
mean
good.
it sounds kind of insane.
Yeah, it's very insane, and you have to get over the fact that it's like insane, and they lie to each other, you know, all that.
I want to.
yeah,
No. You finish your thought because I'm pivoting off of this. Just something.
My thing's a little bit of a pivot as well. It's a mini pivot.
I want to shout out Mary Louise Wilson, the only actor in this we haven't cast, a true legend, like a face you guys all know, has a Tony. Great theater actor. She's so good.
Lois
She's
Smith
the other.
as Annie MacDowell's mom.
Yeah, we said
Yeah,
we
yeah.
said we shouted
Okay,
everyone else out. I
we
think.
got- okay.
Yes. Prosky, of course. We've always but we must give him many flowers. It is crazy that he doesn't have one more scene, but whatever.
It is. Yeah.
They're probably, I don't know. It's a pretty economical movie.
It is. But the billing on it is also weird. Like Prosky's like high billing. John Spencer's like single card.
And he's in like one scene, but he was sort of a name, I guess. He's a great actor. I have a great John Spencer story I'm going to tell you guys off mic. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
I just want to do this soft pivot.
Yes. What's your
off of what we were talking about of this kind of modality of rom-com that is one that's really hard to execute. And especially now we live in a fucking desert where we're only getting like the dumbest, most synthetic rom-coms, or they have to also be gun movies, right? Like either they're like $2 movies. Our buddy Amanda Dobbins on Big Picture was making this case recently where I think they were talking about The People We Meet on Vacation.
That movie.
And was saying how like Hallmark and Netflix have made people think that rom-coms are designed to be really cheap programmers, right? And she was like, there are entire Instagram accounts now with millions and millions of followers based off of travel and based off of look at how nice this sweater I bought was and this face cream I'm using was, right? If it's just about the access to the luxury events, locations, items, like people can get that. They don't need it delivered to them in a movie. And yet, if you're not actually putting that level of like production value on screen, and those things are production value tantamount to like a Marvel movie not investing enough in CGI, then you're like, then what the fuck am I doing here?
I mean, I think the other issue, though, is that for me, the appeal of the rom-com location is not the same as the appeal of someone's Instagram or TikTok. You just want a rom-com to feel like it exists in the real world.
I think it needs to exist in a specific place.
Yeah. For the fantasy to work, at least for me, the fantasy has to be rooted in the reality of a place and has to be rooted in the tangibility of that place. And then I can forgive some of the rom-com tropes, some of the rom-com ridiculousness that you have to get over because I feel like it's in the real world. I was talking about this with somebody the other day where it's like, I always have trouble, like I love rom-coms and I have trouble reading romance. I've tried rom-com novels
sure. Yeah.
and I have trouble with them.
They tend to be very tropey.
Because they're so tropey and also because the writing's just not good enough for me to like glom onto.
But also,
and sort of,
not
I feel
to dismiss a genre that I know people enjoy.
Yeah, again, not to dismiss a genre that I know people enjoy. But I just don't feel like I can latch on in the way. And I feel like when I latch onto a rom-com, it's because the fizziness is in the dialogue, is in the writing, and the reality is in the world.
I think it even goes beyond that, which is just like, for me, it's the magic act of the chemistry that two people are creating. And then when that's working in tandem with the writing, with the location, with the supporting cast, all that stuff, when it feels like you've created an ecosystem. But I do agree with you, it needs to feel like it is grounded in the specific, and the specific can't just be the tropes of the characters or the plot beats. It also needs to be like a sense of place, even if that place is made up or heightened. And I feel like we're stuck in a lot of like streaming movies that are based around vacations where the characters have no relationship to the place they're in and the place is being rendered very artificially, which is like the worst of all worlds. We're in a fake Maui and they just happen to meet here, And it's like, great. So now you get a fucking surfing sequence. The fuck is this? It doesn't mean anything. And I think like, it's, you want some level of like tactility. You want a level of like time and place in that specificity. A movie I love, which I will continue defending for the rest of my fucking life, is Materialist, which I think has been so wildly misunderstood. David is making the rudest face a person could possibly make.
I don't like that movie.
I know you don't. You've made that very, very clear to me. But I think Materialist is...
I like Materialist. I don't love it, but I don't. But
David is now making the rudest face in the world.
We sat next to each other.
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
And David is making a face that says, don't talk to me ever again. Ooh. But I feel Materialist is, with like a pitch black heart and a real cynicism, more attempting a movie on this kind of wavelength than a proper rom-com.
It is.
I think so much of the hyper negative response to Materialist, which I fully understand is a very acquired taste movie that's not going to work for most people, is that it felt like A24 successfully marketed to people, we're bringing the rom-com back. And people were so ready to just see a fun love triangle movie. And then it was this kind of movie digging into is all of dating bullshit, which then made people feel like you offered me a cookie and then like threw acid in my face. They made the money.
Yeah, no, I was proud of them making their money. I was happy it made money. I like movies making money.
I want to hear Ben's rom-com.
Yes.
Well, I look up this list. I don't know. There's a bunch. I just went to IndieWire, like 100 top rom-coms. And it's a reminder that this subgenre, what comes to mind is the stuff I remember as a kid that were very much leaning into the tropes.
Okay.
And that's like all of the McConaughey movies.
Yep.
So I forget when I look and I'm like seeing stuff like Breakfast at Tiffany's, I'm like, yeah,
Sure.
I guess.
McConaughey did a lot of damage. The McConaughey run was quite bad and kept getting worse.
And he knows it.
That era was the death of it.
It was. And it felt very cynical. And the McConaissance was all about him being like, yeah, I agree. Those movies sucked, which kind of left those movies even further in the dirt without anyone stepping up to try to reclaim or recontextualize. There's also just the big thing, which is basically like Knocked Up skewed everything. When Knocked Up hit, people went, oh, can you make a rom-com that's dude perspective first and has this kind of like harder comedy edge in it? And women will be more willing to see a dude rom-com than dudes are to see like a more female perspective driven rom-com, which I think had always been seen as a bit of a hurdle. And then that leaves you with like nothing. When that goes down,
they started to lose respect for their audience.
They did. Yeah, and they felt like they had contempt for themselves, were like embarrassed to be rom-coms and had to be like, but it's not really a rom-com.
Okay, but I'll say 500 Days of Summer, Moonstruck.
Well, yes.
Harold and Maude.
Yeah.
And then Roman Holiday, which I just saw recently. I watched with my wife because we were going to Italy and it was great.
You had a bit of a Roman holiday.
We did.
That's true.
I mean, for the first 60, 70 years of cinema, a like wild percentage of the greatest movies ever made could be classified as rom-coms. And it's really when they start to nail the formula down to the wall in the 80s. And then like kind of 90s, Touchstone like just fucking goes like, here it is. It's math.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a like take actor A, actor B, add situation C.
There are wildly successful movies that come out of that era and ones that have stood the test of time. And even the middling ones are fun to watch now. But it does feel like, it's like what fucking happens to Marvel, where people go like, oh my God, I get it. I know what's going to happen. I've seen 20 of these. They never change.
I get frustrated, like when I was in the process of writing this, that like rom-com fans have this idea of the rom-com sometimes as being only this like 2000s sort of.
There's a lack of history.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Like they think 27 Dresses is the apex.
Right. And
she did have 27 dresses.
She did have 27 dresses. And that I find very frustrating. And I think the problem with reviving the rom-com a little bit is that stuff still maybe looms a little too large.
Did you see Your Christmas or Mine?
What was that?
No one's seen it.
Your Christmas or Mine?
They made a sequel as well.
Even thinking about movies that we've covered on the show that came up, Broadcast News, all of the Nora movies.
Nancy,
totally. Yeah. Did we like classify them as rom-coms during those series? Were we like,
really I think you did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't know. I don't even think of them as really that. Maybe the Nancys. But.
Well, and look.
No, I mean, Nora is the queen of it. Like, Nora is
and
the
she's always at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. I'm like, those are funny movies. Whereas rom-coms, I also equate kind of in my head as being like a little bit schlockier.
But I think that's the problem.
That's
like the inherent
that's what I'm talking about. Is that it used to be like these have to be high thread count movies. Like people want to see movie stars looking incredible.
Yeah,
they want to see.
And I think this is how
this is a huge problem with materialists.
Nice homes and outfits. You think that's a huge problem with materials?
I think every actor is so wrong for it, and then is styled wrong. Is like just like they not locked into whatever character she wants. Like that. That's the biggest thing with that movie.
I disagree on that.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have some issues with the casting in that movie, but I will say it. But I think that's the thing that like
I mean, the
bothers
opponents
me,
have
which
no
is that
chemistry, but that's
Well, that's the
rom-com
point.
got
That's
no wait, let me
the point.
okay.
That Pedro Pascal and Dakota Johnson
have
have
a
no
point
chemistry?
to
That is
make.
the point.
Stop it. I have a point to make.
Go ahead, Esther.
Rom-coms got equated with chick flicks.
Yes.
Sure.
And that is the big, and
That's
honestly,
sort of a 90s
I don't think
thing. Right.
it's a
like, yeah.
90s thing and into the 2000s thing.
Yes.
And I think it's a problem on multiple levels because I also don't think like the term chick flick should not exist because
It's flick for chicks.
It's
yeah.
in and of
It's a-
itself reductive.
and then you factor into now that rom-com has been like so inundated with the Netflix schlock and the Netflix, and
And the
then on
Netflix
the side
schlock
of that,
is
like
ripping off the Hallmark schlock.
Hallmark schlock,
Yes.
and that is the problem, and it's all been denigrated. And I mean, I think it's all comes from like a sexist place, which is that like at a certain point they stopped realizing that everyone likes these movies, and they thought that only women like these movies. But it's like a very frustrating thing.
Well, and that's also just right that we don't have to make an effort. As
Yeah.
long as it's your Christmas or mine and their Christmases get swapped.
That's the problem with the Hallmark and the Netflix stuff is people go, oh, if they'll watch it and we put
Yeah.
$2 into the budget and it stars Joe
Just
fuck
be-
and
it can
Alice
be
who gives a
AI.
shit.
Yeah, right.
Then
Who
right, then
cares?
no one fucking matters. I also think you're right that it's one of those genres that in the 90s and the 2000s where it was financially very, very lucrative. It was never treated with a lot of respect by the industry itself. It was like, this is one of those things we have to fucking make. We thank Julia for keeping our industry afloat, but we're not going to take her seriously until she does Aaron Brockovich, right?
Right.
Whatever it is. Even that arc between like 90 and 2000, where it's like, they cannot ignore her in Pretty Woman. They have to give her a Best Actress
They
nomination.
do, because it's such a phenomenon.
It's seismic.
Right,
but by
right,
10
right.
years later, they're like, you're not getting one again until you actually break the genre. And it was always just, well, if they keep making money, we'll keep making them, even if we don't really respect them. The second the fucking obsession with overseas grosses blew up,
Yeah.
it fucked everything up
It
because
hurts all the
these
comedies.
movies are super culturally specific. And it's like in the same way that we don't fucking want to watch the French movie called Quelque Chance about like
Right.
4 people drinking wine and finger banging each other. They don't want to see our movies, even if they are our stars.
What, they don't want to see our movies?
It's rare.
Yeah.
Those aren't the movies they want us to export as much, right? And they rarely
Griffin
would
really
connect
brought it around to
yes. unless the premise is like so gold. But even then, you look at the best rom-coms and they tend to be remade in every country where they're
Of
like,
course.
we'll do our version
Hollywood
of
can
that
make it-
premise.
Yeah,
oh,
right,
like
right.
what?
Well, there's so many French comedies that were remade as American comedies, like Three Men and a Baby and stuff like that. But even like, what was the Olivia Wilde's new movie?
The Invite.
The
Yeah, it's a
Invite
remake.
at Sundance.
Yeah.
Is like, it was a Spanish film originally.
Coda.
Sure.
But
was
that
a French
movie
film, right?
is a
Yeah.
Spanish film, and I believe it's the 4th remake. Like 3 other countries remade it before we did.
It's called The People Upstairs. I'm excited. Olivia Wilde, though, she's made a film, directed it?
No, she's an actor.
Oh, okay, right. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
And she's in the film.
Yeah, of course. If
And the
she was
story
directing a
ends
movie,
there.
I would have heard about
The
it.
story ends there.
I would have heard about it. I pay attention to such
Green
things.
Card was released limited Christmas. We're done. We're wrapping up. I'm wrapping us up, guys.
Do you have something you want to say?
This has been a spirited conversation.
Oh, sure.
It's a good reminder, though. I need to revisit how I think about the rom-com. And you know what I'm going to do?
What are you gonna do?
I'm going to pick up Esther's book.
Oh my God,
hell
thank
yeah.
you,
She's got some great recs in that book. Seriously, if you just like watch along with her, like I highly recommend.
Thank you.
Her other books are trash, though.
Not
Thank
true.
you. Garbage.
But falling in love at the movies.
Yes.
Well, yes, but we're not. I mean, we're not at the plugs. I mean, we should plug Esther's book, plug away. But I mean,
It's just
also
we kept talking about it and not naming it. I thought it was good to
Oh,
name
that's a good
it.
point.
Yeah. David, box office.
Yeah, well, it comes out Christmas. Expands wide-ish
Mm.
February 1st.
Okay.
Made $30 million domestic.
Uh-huh.
I think more worldwide. So like Weir made some good movies.
It gets a best
I
screenplay
think it made some
nomination.
good money. So that I wanted to point out. Yes.
Golden Globe. It wins best musical or comedy.
I have all this queued up. So
Do you want to say it?
yeah, so it wins best musical or comedy at the Golden Globes, which is shocking because the other nominees were, this is crazy that it won. I don't know how, they must have paid someone off. Or maybe it was the classier movie. I'm going to give you the nominees for best
You gotta
comedy
remember
musical.
Euro voting base.
You're right,
Do
but
they
still,
just
but listen.
Because Gerard also wins best actor.
He does. but at least he's sort of, listen to this.
Yeah.
Dick Tracy. Okay, fine. That wasn't going to win.
Pretty
Insane.
funny, though.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah. I mean, Ghost feels like it's slam dunk.
Home Alone.
Yeah. But they
may be snobby about it, but it had made $1 billion.
No, I know.
And Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
It beat all of those out. Like, was there almost like a weird, like the bigger movies were sort of splitting votes or something? It's crazy.
I think it's a Euro thing. And I think Pretty Woman being released at the beginning of the year and Green Card at the end of the year, I think it was probably positioned as this is the headier Pretty Woman. But this is the rarefied, the upper class. And I think it's the Euro thing.
Depardieu beats out Macaulay Culkin, Richard Gere, Patrick Swayze. Again, you'd think the Globes might be going for these guys.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp and Edward Scissorhands.
It was the Hollywood Foreign Press. So they were like,
I guess so. But like, Andie, I think, was nominated, but she lost to Julia Roberts. They, at least for that one, were like, I think Julia Roberts maybe should win the Golden Globe.
And what were the other screenplay nominees?
I'm going to tell you, because it's quite a bunch. Now, the winner is Bruce Joel Rubin's screenplay for Ghost, which is a stupid winner, but obviously that movie was such a phenomenon. And I think there was that Hollywood of like, you wrote the movie that was sort of out of fashion.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It's also like
Bruce
he invented silly putty, where you're like, I don't know if we needed this, but certainly it caused a sensation. And no one else was going to think to write this.
The other reason he won is you look at the other nominees and none of them really feel like winners. Mm-hmm. It's Woody Allen for Alice, which is like a weird fucking movie.
Kind of doesn't exist. Yeah.
It's a really interesting movie, but certainly not going to win an Oscar. Barry Levinson's Avalon, which is, I feel like, a movie that everyone thought was going to be like his big like next Oscar epic, and everyone was a little tepid on it.
It's a pretty good movie.
It's
Favorite
pretty
of my
good.
father's.
It's a pretty good.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
It's made though with this kind of like
very
lushness where you're like,
it's like his Fablemans or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then Whit Stillman for Metropolitan, which is a feat of writing.
Yeah, should win.
Thank God he got in there, but that was
feels like you're lucky to be nominated.
Totally.
We're giving you that level of respect. Yeah.
It's a weird one because it's the 90 Oscars, so it's Dances with Wolves and Goodfellas are like the big, sort of awards contenders, and then shit like, fucking Bugsy.
A shit like fucking Bugsy.
Is it Bugsy? No, it's not the Bugsy year. It's Dick Tracy is the
Dick Tracy.
Movie that year.
So it's the following year of shit like fucking Bugsy.
I guess Misery wins Best Actress, Best Actor. Jeremy Irons for Reversal of Fortune. All the comedies we just noted, which are like memorable smashes.
Yeah.
Ghost, Home Alone, Pretty Woman. It's like, take your noms. Ghost got some wins, right? But like at the end of the day, this was an Oscars that tended to ignore that stuff.
I don't know how much of it's the 10, but I've just been thinking a lot about, are we a little past the era of like the Oscar-winning performances are the only nomination for the movie?
Yeah, it doesn't happen much anymore, but partly because, 10 Best Picture nominee. Were there any this year? Weapons.
Weapons, yes.
Yeah.
It could quite possibly, pull off that exact trick. But I feel like a historic one is that Michael Douglas was the only nomination that Wall Street got.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Reversal of Fortune didn't get a ton of nominations, did it? Or am I wrong?
I might have gotten a few though. Let's see. Great movie.
Because Misery, I think, similarly was just the one.
Reversal of Fortune got 3 noms. Director, actor, screenplay. Didn't nominate. Well, Glenn is truly in a coma for most of it. She is. He fucking put her there.
Let me ask you though, did
he?
Did you see her blink once?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good performance. Made a choice and stuck to it.
Misery, I think, just got the one nom. Misery is the rare, truly, which is a little rude because it's actually a really good adaptation.
Exactly.
But I think it's a very crowded
and Khan's
field
great
that
in
year.
it. Yeah.
Khan is great.
Yeah.
Khan is great.
Khan is great.
I sound insane right now, but he is. He's
Khan is great. Yeah.
Box office. So I'm giving you the February 1st expansion. It's still only number 6. It was a slow grower, this one. Number 1 at the box office. We've mentioned it a few times already. It's a phenomenon, a Christmas phenomenon. It's been number 1 for 3 months.
Home Alone.
It's called Home Alone.
R.I.P. Catherine O'Hara.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, but it was one of the 10 highest grossing films.
And yet the Wet Bandits is still at large.
They're still at large, unfortunately. One of the 10 highest grossing films of all time upon release.
It made $285 million domestic.
Insane.
When do they remake it?
I mean, they've tried so many shitty versions of sequels and remakes and reboots, and like nobody cares.
I
anymore.
think
Also, isn't there like a John Hughes thing? Like he is very specific. Like
no, because they've done other ones. Sorry, Esther. I was not saying that in a dismissive way. Just that they've done shitty runoff Home Alone stuff in a way that I think maybe because he didn't direct it, the contracts weren't as tight.
maybe, yeah,
Because I know he wouldn't let something like Ferris or...
right.
Although they were about to make a fucking Ferris Bueller spinoff at Paramount Plus and it got shut down at the last second.
Dude,
Thank God.
Thank God.
The fucking Super Bowl ads obviously are horrendous now.
Yeah, I hate all this shit.
Yeah, they're
the
so
one
bad.
with Broderick where he's like, I love AI because it helps me like do spreadsheets and shit. I'm just
The
watching and I'm like, Broderick, you've never done a spreadsheet. What is this?
talking
You
about?
don't work in an office.
The only good
Get
Super
outta here,
Bowl
Broderick.
ad was the one with the toilets singing.
I didn't even see that, but it sounds
I
like my
saw
kind
that
of thing.
one, and I mean, it was okay.
I laughed.
But there wasn't like a,
No, it was bad.
a single tier, like, kind of Super Bowl ad that you were looking for.
There's like the 2 to 3 shitty post Macaulay, Home Alone, the sequels, and then the
Yes.
reboot attempt.
Home
And I
Sweet Home
feel
Alone.
like Macaulay more recently started being like, what if we did like a legitimate one and it was me as the dad?
Right.
I think Catherine O'Hara dying kills
That
that.
kills it even harder.
I think it kills it really
like,
fucking
we're-
hard.
in the weird way, of course, like her like later in life, like
Yeah.
fifth wave of success probably would have made it easier.
Totally.
Like, and now it's sort of like, oh, forget it.
Right. And people wanting to see the two of them together if
You
it's just
just-
him.
Griff, you just know if they do a Home Alone now, it's like he'll have an app. He'll like, swing the cans with like
Suck.
an app.
Yeah.
He'll like put a TikTok filter on his face to order the pizza.
And he's not even swinging cans. He's taping older iPhone models to strings. And then he's using an app to... It's all the apps.
Number 2 at the box office is the Best Picture winner.
Dances with Wolves.
That's right.
So
We've
these
covered
are
it on this podcast.
These are just like fucking juggernauts running the box office that are
I
going to
mean, just 3 months.
month-long campaigns. Yeah.
Number 3 is a film I didn't see in theaters, but definitely saw as a boy. It's an adventure film for young people.
It's an adventure film for young people. It's not Homeward Bound.
No, it's more like grown up and dramatic than that. But it's definitely still like for, kids and teenagers. It's a Disney film. It's a major great actor as a young man. Young
Newsies?
youngster. Nope. But
I don't know.
kind of, that level of prestige.
I don't know when-
It's not the Cusack one. It's not the Ethan Hawke one.
It
right?
sure is an Ethan Hawke
It's the
one.
Ethan Hawke one.
Oh,
and
what's
it's
the name of this
called-
movie?
I get all these titles confused. It's not
Is it something with a G?
Never Cry Wolf.
No, but it does involve a wolf.
It does involve a wolf. It's
White
not
wolf
is it
dog.
White Fang.
White
Fang.
Fang.
There we go.
I
They-
got that before him.
Yeah, you nailed
White
it, Esther.
Fang, Esther Zuckerman.
Esther, and I say this, look at me. I say this from the bottom of my heart. Points.
Thank you.
Based on Jack London's novel, he's in Alaska or wherever the fuck he is. There's a wolf dog. They go on an adventure. I saw it as a kid. I can't say I remember it very well. Ethan
Me
Hawke.
neither. Yeah.
Randall
Ethan Hawke.
Kleiser film.
Yeah.
Who made Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
And Grease.
Did you know there's a
Grease,
new TV show
Blue
where
Lagoon. Big
Eli-
Top Pee Wee.
where
Yeah,
Elizabeth
weird
Banks
movie.
is shrinked, and
What's
it's
up?
like
What's Shrink?
there's like a Honey I Shrunk the Kids TV. Well, it's not Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but it's called A Miniature Wife, and Matthew McFadden shrinks Elizabeth Banks. I just think it's funny.
I'm
Wait.
going to say this from the bottom of my heart.
Oh my God, this is coming up.
Yeah, it's coming out
He
soon.
made her
He
tiny.
made her small. It's literally Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but it's Elizabeth Banks. But it's
And you
not
can
like
just imagine McFadden going like, oh.
Which platform is this on?
I
It's on
believe Peacock.
I'm going to say this from the bottom of my heart. I think we need to create Skynet and use it to destroy the servers that all of these streaming platforms use. I think we need to wipe this shit out. Enough is enough.
Whatever the algorithms are that are making it, like, they've got to go.
Yes.
We need to do a movie about your mission to like tear out like servers in like Hollywood basements or whatever.
I'm like, I'll get a sledgehammer right now and
Where
just start.
We fucking ran the number. McFadden, Elizabeth Banks, he shrinks her. It's enough. It gets, like the profit loss. It gets us there.
And I don't know. We have to create an entity. We have to find a Podkova. I don't know what we have to fucking do.
Man, remember how often they say Podkova in that movie?
Yeah.
We saw that film together.
I still have so many questions.
Yeah. Number 4.
I've tried to work through. I've gotten somewhere. Still waiting on Christopher McQuarrie's remaining 800 hours of explaining why it's good. He tapped out after 4.
He did. I would love him to come aboard. I truly wonder how he feels about it.
I genuinely want him to go through a couple years of therapy.
Yeah.
Maybe write like a book.
Even make another movie.
Yeah.
And then like be like, okay, you know what? Fine. In retrospect, I made a couple mistakes.
Right. I'm opening the Final Reckoning files.
Right.
3 million will remain redacted, but 3 million will be released to the public.
Maybe I didn't mean to do that many flashbacks. Number 4 is a Best Picture nominee from a director who we will cover on this podcast one day. You're always saying we're going to cover her.
I'm always saying we're going to cover
It's a
her.
joke.
Penny Marshall.
That's
It's the
right.
motion picture Awakenings.
Wake up.
Kind of just like ultimate sturdy Oscar bait movie.
Why is Penny Marshall a joke? Like, I
Great question,
genuinely
Esther.
think you should do it.
No, great question. And I'm glad you're saying me up for this because I think the longer it's been a joke, the more people think
You're making fun of Penny Marshall.
we would never do it and we don't think she's worthy of a series.
But like, she is.
Absolutely. 100%. And I actually want to do her as a series.
Yeah, I need to do a Penny episode.
Which Penny would you want to do? A Penny for your thoughts.
I mean,
You can't just call League of Her Own. So come on.
You can. What I'm not asking her to call one. I'm saying which one would you want to do in your heart of hearts? You can
I mean,
say whatever you want.
obviously, I would want to do a League of Their Own.
Noted.
But you get someone more famous to do that. Sorry, you guys are big time now.
Well, it's just A-Rod
Possibly.
had told us he was interested. A-Rod's become a blankie and a checkmate.
I mean, obviously, look, riding in cars with boys would be fucked up to do.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's more
Okay.
fun than League of Their Own, dude. League of Their Own is kind of like, yeah, it rocks. You know, I mean, it would be fun, but like the weird ones are funner.
Also,
Okay.
A-Rod has like a lot of takes on that one. He said he has some personal stories that he thinks would be a good place to share. No, the actual answer is it was a bit very early into our run when we had been covering kind of like more obvious people and landed on that as the joke answer to throw people off our scent.
It's a grift bit.
And then now it has circled back to just, I can always say we're doing Penny Marshall next to divert people's attention from what we're actually doing.
Right.
But to be clear,
Which is Roman Polanski.
I
And
would,
Esther, you're on every episode.
to be clear, I would very much like to do.
Depardieu, Polanski, just people who have,
Yeah.
other people have signed petitions in support of.
Yeah.
I would very much like to do Penny Marshall.
Yeah, we'll
And
do
I'd like to do it sooner rather than later. How's next week for you, David?
yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Number 5 at the box office is a romantic comedy drama. About a young woman who falls for and eventually marries an overbearing older man who proceeds to rub her close-knit family the wrong way. Would you believe that this film stars Richard Dreyfuss?
This is What About Bob?
No,
No.
this is not a movie I really know. It's a Lasse Hallström movie. It's his first English language film. The great Swedish director Lasse Hallström, who became a very mediocre Hollywood director.
Yeah.
For a very long
Mediocre
time.
Hollywood director is almost, too kind.
He did make chocolate. Well, he made a couple of good
Yeah,
American.
We're,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
going,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
coming back around. Everything's full circle.
Look, I watched Chocolat for the first time like 2 or 3 years ago
Yeah.
after
took
mostly
a bite.
knowing it as like ultimate Oscar villain.
You took
Yeah.
a bite.
And I'm like, this shit rules.
Yeah, Chocolat's pretty good.
It's pretty
Obviously, being nominated for Best Picture
It's
is the
not
worst
Best
thing that ever
Picture.
could have happened to
Right,
it.
right.
I wish we had 3 Chocolats a year.
I
Could
think
I
that, like-
ask, what is Chocolat about?
Dude,
It's about
what
a
isn't
man.
it about?
Dude, it is about what if you were a stuffy French town and Juliette Binoche, like at her peak performance,
Yeah.
showed up and started making chocolate, and everyone just got so horny.
And then
Right.
Johnny
Oh, shit.
Depp showed
Yes.
up.
And Johnny
Right.
Depp is there too, but he's on,
Johnny
he's
Depp is
under
like
the
a
surface.
Romani drifter who like
got a guitar.
steals her heart and then returns it to her. Alfred Molina seemingly coming straight from the set of Dudley Do Right.
He's just like,
Snidely
this
whiplash.
chocolate is bad!
He's got the mustache and the cape and everything. Her daughter's Ponette, the saddest girl in the history of movies.
Shit.
right.
All right, I gotta watch
It's a
this.
pretty silly movie.
Judy Dench is an old lady who's
She's
like,
good.
"The chocolate.
The chocolate
Right.
makes them horny.
I will report back.
I think that like Gilbert Grape, Chocolat are the sort of, I guess, the 2 best Hallström Hollywood movies. I've never seen Something to Talk About,
No.
the Julia Roberts movie he made.
Is there another 90s one? Cider House?
which
Cider House.
It's a movie that is like, again, it's like if you remove the Oscar nominations, like the unjust wins that it got,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh, this is interesting. There's things about this that work. Like it's
My
just
Princes of New England.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think Cider House rules.
Boo.
I had to do it.
I liked it.
Woo!
I liked it.
Woo!
I liked it.
Cider House rules.
But My Life as a Dog is like incredible. Like he
Rules.
made great
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie I've never heard of. I'll tell you the stars: Richard Dreyfuss, Holly Hunter, Danny Aiello, Laura San Giacomo. So Andie MacDowell's co-star there.
Yeah.
Also
Jenna
in Pretty
Rollins.
Woman, there's a lot.
Jenna
Yeah.
Rollins is in it.
Roxanne Hart, Tim Guinea. I don't know this movie. Do you not guys
Is
know
the
this movie?
title a sentence?
No. It's
I don't
like a
know.
very generic sounding title. It's called
Broken Hearts?
it's called Once Around.
Mm-mm.
Yep.
Nope.
Never heard
Produced
of it.
by Griffin Dunn. I wonder if he ever
Interesting.
considered directing or something. I have no idea.
I don't know. He was producing a lot in that era, though. He produced Running on Empty.
Griffin-
And
be
Chilly
producing.
Scenes of Winter.
Yeah.
So that's the top 5. Number 6 is Green Card. Number 7 is It's Not a Tumor.
Kindergarten Cop.
Number 8 is a movie called Popcorn. What is that?
That's a horror film. Isn't it about a haunted movie theater?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to
I've
see
seen
it.
this poster. I've
Yeah.
never seen this movie.
Yeah.
College students hosting a film festival, stalked and murdered by a serial killer. Sounds fun. Number 9 is The Grifters, another Oscar holdover. Great film.
Great film.
And number 10 is Hamlet. I think the Mel Gibson Hamlet,
Sure.
which is a very solid kind
I
of
think
like.
I remember what Mel Gibson said.
What do you say?
Well, it's Clueless. She's referenced.
Oh, got it. You got a lot of the kings of the 90s in that 10.
True.
For
True.
being
Dreyfuss, you mean?
No, but you got Macaulay and Arnie and Costner and Gibson.
Totally.
It is like
Gibson, yeah.
it's a snapshot of a movie star era.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, it's got number 11 is Godfather Part 3.
Well, look at that.
Pacino's there. Number 12 is
Garcia.
Jacob's Ladder. Tim Robbins.
The biggest, tallest,
He is tall.
one of our tallest actors.
I just saw Howard the Duck for the first time recently because I'm trying to
You
watch
know what?
every
I
movie
know
from
this
1986.
because you liked Ross Loophould's review of it
I thought it was funny.
he got that notification during our Super Bowl
Was he
watch.
excited?
He was
that
like,
I had liked
well,
his
no,
review?
because you liked it and then a bunch of people started liking
If I
it.
like a review, I don't mean to do this, but because I have a big following on
Little
Letterboxd,
He was like, what the fuck is happening?
I mean, his review to me nailed. I know you've discussed Howard the Duck many times on the George Lucas talk show. I'm sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Duck
But,
tits.
Yes, duck tits, right. But his review nailed the whole thing to me. Where he's like, what bugs him is the duck is not funny. He's not trying and failing. He's not even intended to be funny. He's just grumpy about being a duck in the real world the whole movie.
It feels.
Where's the point of
Yes.
the comic book character is he's like, I'm a wisecracking duck. And this one, he's just like, what the fuck's up with me not being in my duck world?
It feels like real Lucas influence. That if he had been like, I read the comic book and I liked it and I hired funny filmmakers and I let them do whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
I'm not sure the movie works, but
Right.
it's probably more of an out and out comedy.
Right. I kind of went into it because of its weird status now, thinking like, this is going to be interesting. And then I put it on and I was like, this is like sludgy. Like, this is really slow and boring.
Yeah.
Like,
I prefer Garbageville Kids movie to Howard the Duck.
I mean, and it fucking has Leah Thompson in it, who I would like run 1,000 miles for. And she looks great. It also has a duck in it. Howard. The duck. And Tim Robbins is in it. I just remember. Yeah.
And Jeffrey Jones?
He's really good.
Yeah. Legally.
In a movie. What am I supposed to do about the fact that half of Hollywood are sex criminals, Griffin? What do you want me to do about this?
Stop inviting them to your birthday party. That's all I'm asking.
I haven't had a birthday party. Well, I had one last year. What should I do this year?
Invite Jeffrey Jones. Or just text him and ask what he's up to.
Oh my God.
1-800-Jeffrey.
Cosby, Jeffrey Jones. Who
Yeah,
else?
we
gotta-
Who else?
We
Remember
already
Griffin's
invoked
Cosby
Kevin
run?
Spacey.
Oh, sure, we did mention him.
Cosby runs may be cut out.
Polanski,
or
we mentioned
it's kept in and
Polanski.
tripled. I was thinking, it is kind of nice that they got Beetlejuice made while Catherine Hara was still alive,
That is
not
nice.
knowing that we were going to lose her so soon.
Yes.
Like that movie ends with her being reconnected with her dead husband, whose
Who
top
is
half has
eaten,
been
right.
bitten off, so you don't have to look at Jeffrey Jones anymore. But the movie ends with you being like, she seems happy.
Yeah, totally.
Makes me
She
happy.
rocks in that movie. She's really fun in
She's
that
so
movie.
good in it. Yeah.
Not a movie I like remember that well otherwise.
Watched it again and it grew for me a little. It's fun. It's fun.
It's pretty fun.
It's
Like,
fun.
I definitely was not like watching that movie. I was like, yeah.
No, you know what movie rules?
What?
Beetlejuice.
Sure.
Well, a little bit less. Esther, anything you want to plug?
My writing.
You're writing everywhere.
Well, obviously my book has been plugged, romcom. So Falling in Love with the Movies, Romcoms from a Screwball Era to Today. I write many places, including the New York Times and Los Angeles Times. So you can read my writing around there. I'm working on a new book that won't be out by this time. But
Are you allowed to say what it's about?
Yeah, it's about the television show Girls.
Hey.
And
people are talking about it.
People are talking about it. It will not be out by the time this is done, and it may be not out by the time I come back on the show. So we will see.
Well, you're doing great.
Thank you.
You're the best.
I appreciate you guys.
In fact, I would say you are the best.
Never
You
forget.
can do anything.
Thank you.
Esther, I've rewatched Aloha in the last year, and do you know that it secretly rips now?
Okay, I should rewatch it.
I've been trying to get David to rewatch it, but if you get around to rewatching Aloha, please touch base with me.
I will.
I would rewatch.
Because
Should we do a reunion pod?
Let's not go crazy. It's only an hour 45. It's not like a big task.
Let's say Aloha to our previous episode on Aloha, and meanwhile say Aloha to our new episode on Aloha. Here's another thing. I bought the Blu-ray and I dug into the special features. There's a 20-minute alternate opening with Jay Baruchel as Bradley Cooper's brother, who is entirely cut out of the movie and has multiple scenes.
Sounds like they really had a handle on that movie.
There's also like a 15-minute alternate ending.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Sounds like they definitely knew what was going on in that movie.
Thank you all for listening. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you to Esther Zuckerman for being here. Tune in next week for...
We have our episode on Fearless with guest Timothy Simons.
Hitmaker, you mean. Hitmaker.
And over on the Patreon, just a few days ago, we released a special Ben's Choice episode on the film Edge of Tomorrow.
/ Live, Die, Repeat.
Yep.
/ All You Need Is Kill.
Love that movie. Excited. Well, I mean, we haven't recorded it yet, but I'm sure it went great.
Or have we recorded it like 150 times?
There's going to be so many bits.
So many bits.
Well, let's have like 2.
But anyway, if you're interested, you can sign up for Blank Check special features over at patreon.com/blank check.
Hell yeah. Esther, you could just get in front of David's mic for 1 second here. I'm just trying to remember the movie Aloha. It's about the sky.
We're ASMR.
Blank Check with Griffin and David is hosted by Griffin Newman and David Sims. Our executive producer is me, Ben Hosley. Our creative producer is Marie Barty Salinas. And our associate producer is AJ McKeon. This show is mixed and edited by AJ McKeon and Alan Smithy. Research by JJ Birch. Our theme song is by Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel, with additional music by Alex Mitchell. Artwork by Joe Bowen, Ollie Moss, and Pat Reynolds. Our production assistant is Minnick. Special thanks to David Cho, Jordan Fish, and Nate Patterson for their production help. Head over to blankcheckpod.com for links to all of the real nerdy shit. Join our Patreon, Blank Check Special Features, for exclusive franchise commentaries and bonus episodes. Follow us on social at Blank Check Pod. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Checkbook, on Substack. This podcast is created and produced by Blank Check Productions. Well, then I'm going to start rolling.
Are you going to do a French accent?
You better
push that nose up.
get a little hunch. Sort of
Push it up, but then push it down, kind of.
Like
we can discuss.
All this is going at the end of the episode.
Sort of the contours of that nose.
Yeah. Okay, ready?